hands on deck. It's your captain, Calendori.
Welcome aboard, everybody, to the Discord Boys podcast, coming at you on a special Sunday night edition here as we grow and go. It's mildly screwed that up, but we're okay. We're not too bad. It's a Sunday night because we moved everything off out of Friday for reasons obvious to everybody else that has been along with us. The Janelle's 2 years stream anniversary plus other attendances around on the web. But we've got a jam-packed special guest show for you tonight. We have some true legends amongst us, some up-and-comers, some mega big deals, and some classy ladies. We got pilots, we got slammers, we got everybody, even some scuffed souls, everything you want out of a podcast. It's going to be a classic. It's going to be amazing. So let's get this kicked off with our first man in the corner. You guys know him and you love him. He landed the pilot's plane on many a cruise ship throughout many evenings. It's the man with the mustache, the beast himself. You know him. It is Jimbo JP. Welcome aboard, sir. Welcome aboard. Good to have you with us. Good to have you with us, Jimbo. And of course, who should be next to him but is not here, so we're going to give him a really, really shit intro, is the guy that you know from Canada, the Bacon Master himself, who's not here because he's late, so he gets a cheesy picture instead. It's Soul Claim. There it is. There he is. There he is. There he is. And just realized that I wasn't transitioning properly because that took, a while for Jimbo to arrive. So we got both of them at the same time. I knew this was going to be difficult, but we got him. We got him in the end. Alrighty. And of course, there's nothing better than the man with the number one voice, the ultimate intro beast himself. You know him and you know him from doing many witches and many other things, and he's been apexing the shit out of it this week. It's Mr. Mega Gremlin. What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
I am doing well. Glad to be back.
Excellent, excellent.
Happy to see everybody.
Yeah, good to have you, man. Good to have you. And of course, one of our special guests tonight joining us, thankfully, he was able to pull his PC back together and make sure things were working in time. He's been grafting it for 9 hours. Let's see if he can survive the podcast. It's your boy, Mr. SlammedSix. Welcome aboard the podcast, sir. Good to have you with us.
Is this working?
It is working. We've passed stage one. We've passed stage one. And then, of course, everybody, you guys know her from some of the most amazingly awesome streams that we've done, and we've all rated in there before. You guys know, and you love her, of course, because she can make perlers like nobody else on the internet, and she plays the coolest games. And we like hanging out with our mom and our family and our lady. It's the classy, the one and only. That's right. We got Norina1 with us, boys and girls. Welcome in, madam. Good to have you with us here on the podcast tonight. The boys are waving. The boys are waving. There it is. Whew, cheesy intro done and dusted. Welcome in, everybody. It is.
And I can just say, well done, Captain.
Good lord, good lord. And
You made it.
If a random Canadian who's supposed to be here, he points to the guy over there, joins us at any point, and the screens all just mess up, please go Soul Scuff in the chat. All I want to see is just the word Soul Scuff spammed over and over in the chat. Because he's late and I have to swap regions, but we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll figure out where he is. He's over here for me. He's over there for me. Alrighty, welcome and let's see who we've got watching us tonight. Thank you, Honorable Loki, for the follow right there at the opener. Thank you so much, Kappa Jimbo, for jumping in. Roberto Berti, Soli's not frozen. Soli's just late. And there's the first thing I forgot to adjust. Putting the alert box over Soul Claim's face.
Dory, Daddy Shark.
That's what happens when you do things like that. I'm just going to move that down here for now.
Del Brock, it's Saturday night's champion.
There we go. And of course, pop up the name. There we go. You can't see the chats. Good lord. SlammedSix. Oh, thank you so much for the tier 1 3-month glorious subscription. I appreciate that. Who else have we got in here? Verhalen. Sneaking in. I thought you were streaming. I thought she was busy streaming right now. I was expecting to see her a little bit later. Welcome in, Verhalen. She's our lady that pulls in and keeps the cruise ship honest on a Saturday night. Good to have you with us, Honorable Loki. I see you with that emote in the chat. Good to have you. See all the Norina fam pulling in to support their women. Always good to have them along with us. She's worth it and worth your time. Remember, if you haven't already checked out twitch.tv/Norina1, make yourself a home there. You won't regret it. Alrighty, boys. How has the week of streaming been? Good lord, it's been a crazy one. It's been a crazy one. I'm sipping on coffee. That's how you know. That's how you know. Let's start up in the top left corner. Mr. Jimbo JP, how's your week of streaming been going?
It's been good playing not Battlefield 5 because, as we all know, the new big game is out. Apex Legends.
Yes, I've noticed you've been in there quite a long. Yeah, you and Mr. Mega have been hitting that thing quite strong. How's it been going in there? Been having a lot of fun?
Oh yeah. I don't know if you might as well talk about that game too.
We'll get there. We'll get in there. Let's just finish up with everyone's little intros there. But yeah, okay. So let me talk to Soul Claim. Oh wait, he's out. So we'll get back to him. Mr. Mega, Mr. Mega Gremlin, how's your week been? Have you been streaming?
The week has been wonderful.
Excellent.
I finished Witcher 3 this week.
Oh, well done! Congratulations.
Feeling a little lost at sea. Have to start something new. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. I'm leaning towards Kingdom Hearts 3.
I've heard so much about Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, is that? Let me just clarify that first. Is that a console-only game, or is that available on PC?
I believe that is PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Good lord, that is another.
I think so.
That is another thing I do not own. So we'll have to just live vicariously through Mr. Mega Gremlin as he plays.
Well, luckily you can stop by and see me Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30.
There you go. Twitch.tv/MegaGremlin. Check him out every Tuesday and Thursday. He's going to be hitting us up with some Kingdom Hearts action. I'm excited because I don't own a PS4, so we'll have to get there.
Yeah, Honorable Loki says it's also available on Xbox One.
Oh, there we go. Not so exclusive anymore, PS4. Wow. It's a sharer because that's a carer. Kingdom Hearts. It's all about the love. And Mr. SlammedSix, what have you been doing other than pulling a PC apart to put a second one inside? Sounds like a lot of work.
No, honestly, just playing a ton of Apex besides work and stuff, and I'm gonna main the game for a while probably. It's really, really good, like really good.
Yeah,
surprisingly good. Yeah,
almost the entirety of Twitch. Whenever I check on my follow list of what's going down, it's just Apex. So, I mean, it's definitely got something. I think Fortnite's running scared at this point. I mean, is this the new big thing, boys? It's gonna keep Fortnite at the door?
I gotta say, it's got a shot.
It's definitely. And of course, Miss Norina, how has your week been, man?
It's been pretty good.
Productive?
I've just been playing Portal Knights and drawing and stuff, and that's about it.
How is Portal Knights? I actually almost bought it on the Switch the other day. I was like, this looks like, I've seen you play it a bit, and I was like, this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it is fun. A lot of times when I play it, like, I end up really wanting to play Minecraft because you can craft and build and do that kind of stuff in the game as well. But there's like actually, I don't know, there are like different islands and stuff that you can travel to, different monsters you can fight, and like so on and so forth. And like I still haven't really gotten super far in the game, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And I don't know, I would recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
Sweet. Yeah, no, like I said, I was browsing through my different purchasable game libraries, and I've noticed you playing quite a bit, and it has looked like a good time. So might be something that we need to chuck into the bandwagon and get a bit of a... Is it a multiplayer co-op sort of thing?
Yes, you can play with others, yeah.
Awesome. We might have to get ourselves a podcast crew pulling in for some sort of Thursday night mass action in Portal Nights. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, for me, it's been a non-stop streaming week. I'm been running around the freaking TwitchCon to the Twitchness areas. I've been jumping on Snappy's podcast on Friday, doing the cruise ship sailing yesterday, and then doing the podcast tonight. So it's been a non-stop. It feels like I've worked more this weekend than I did the entire week at the real job. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's how it goes, man. This is supposed to be like relaxing, easy weekend. That's not true. This is non-stop action. 5 hours of screaming can take it out of a man. I've been trying not to pass out the couch most of the time today, but it's been a hell of a lot of fun.
Grind is real.
It is, right? Grinding is proper. I mean, we've discussed that on multiple podcasts that, people think this is just parking cheese and playing some games while everyone else is hanging out. It's really not. There's a bit of production value that goes into a lot of work goes on behind the scenes. I think for all of the streams. I mean, every one of us here that streams, we all know that's part of the parcel. There's a whole lot of behind the scenes actions that 90% of the viewers have no idea goes on. But Yeah, it works out. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It really is. I've had a great time. It's been a really good weekend. Just it's been a long one, but I'm having a good time with it. So I mean, topic wise tonight, boys, and girls. I keep saying boys and girls. What are we thinking about? We've been looking at, and we've discussed it 3 times already in the intro, so it's got to be on the tip of everybody's tongues. The new up-and-coming game that is dominating Twitch and dominating the gaming world right now is this Apex Legends. Who in the chat there is playing it as well? Let us know. I mean, we've got at least 3 or 4 out of the people on the stream right now that are face deep in it. I've been seeing them non-stop gaming it up. Jimbo, you were streaming it, I think, last night or the night before as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So tell us about it, boys. I haven't had a chance to jump in personally. I've been rocking a bit of the Division 2. I got into the private beta to give it a go. I've been having a bit of fun in that one. But I've got Apex loaded. Why should we be in there, and why should we not be in there? Let us know. You guys have had the experience. Tell me about it.
Well, number one, it's not a pre-alpha pre-order.
It's a real game. It's not a pre-alpha. It's not a freaking Atlas. Oh, okay. Guess who's here, boys? Guess who's here? It's Scuffcast. Scuffcast has arrived.
Oh, look.
Jesus.
The bottom of my...
Nah, you know, and I've just realized how badly this is going to wreck my entire thing.
Nice.
Soulclaim, thank you very much for showing up and wrecking my entire frames. I'm trying my best now, boys, so I'm going to move.
I have been scrambling for 2 hours to get done in time to be here.
Alright, I'm turning you up because you sound like no.
Arena.
Yeah, I'm going to move everything around here, so you guys talk amongst yourselves while I fix this. Holy hell.
And I'm also not in my normal frame either.
Yes.
Because my streaming setup got torn apart last night, or yesterday.
You know what? I'm very aware of that, Soulclaim, by the fact that everything is now all over the place. Okay. So welcome to Soul Scuff.
I apologize.
I'm gonna move these around. What we were talking about, Soli, is Apex and what's been going on with that. Everybody was weighing in with their thoughts on what it's all about and whether it's going to be the new Fortnite killer. I think it's got Fortnite running for the hills, personally.
I think it's putting up a hell of a fight, yeah. I haven't really looked a lot into it, to be honest.
So the guys that have been playing it a lot have been Jimbo and Mega and Slammed, actually. He's been also hitting it quite hard. Jimbo was saying that it's nice to play a game that's not pre-alpha, you know.
Yeah. It feels finished. It's like I haven't encountered any real bugs really. It's not. I counted some things that it's not perfect, but like it's really good. Like from the start.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have even had heard of the game like. A couple of days like before it released I heard of it and then you could play it like
yeah I like how they developed it first before they started generating hype for it because it gave them the flexibility to use more time if they needed it because they weren't on a marketing schedule, they were on a development schedule, and I think that shows a lot in the final product.
It's the same company who did Titanfall, right?
Yeah, which is it's the same IP actually.
Yeah, so the whole original gist of everything was that it was supposed to be like a Titanfall 3. That was supposed to be the original release. And then EA and the guys who created Apex, they kind of just went under the radar really, really hard and just pulled out a BR that nobody really knew about. And a couple like the major streamers had NDAs that they couldn't talk about anything. And then like 2 days before it released, I think it was that Friday or Saturday, they just dropped like the news about what was coming out, and then Monday in the morning, boom, it's ready to play.
Yeah, because it literally came out of nowhere. I mean, completely left field. I had heard absolutely nothing about it, and then all of a sudden, bam, there we are, and the whole of Twitch is playing the same game, and there was hardly any hype, there was hardly any build-up, there was no expectations, and we were talking about this before. I think it's actually worked out a hell of a well for these guys, because there's none of the I'm burned out playing the beta. We've all seen it. We've all played it, and now you know it's trying to establish itself.
Yeah.
It's just literally bam. Here's the game. Everyone's playing it. Look at that. The whole of Twitch is alive. The buzz is being created by actual gameplay, not the end game. You know, of a beta that we've all been just trying to put together and figure out. And I think it's the way it should be, to be honest. And I think it's a great thing that the response has been so good for them, because it just proves to all the game designers these days that you don't need to give us a pre-alpha, alpha, half scuffed version of something that that we want to try just so you can get your pre-sales in. You know, at the end of the day, we prefer to play a game that's actually finished, guys, rather than something that, you know, looks like you threw together in your basement 5 minutes ago because you had a good idea you wrote down on a napkin. You know what I mean?
You mean like me showing up to this podcast late?
Wow, Scuffcast.
Scuffcast.
Welcome to Soul Scuff. Did you see the glorious picture I had in your place while we launched?
I did. I got the message and I looked at it and I went, "Oh, you dick."
I went for the worst one I could find on Facebook because I was like, it's gonna make him move his ass.
Ooh,
Yeah, like
10 million
Robert.
players in the first 3 days
Yeah.
on that. Wow.
I looked at
that's
it
exactly.
and literally the thought I had was, "Oh, you dick. I deserve that."
Exactly.
Yeah, like they said, a
Speaking of
million
that, I
players.
actually need to close
8
this
hours,
door.
That's crazy. 10 million and 72. And Dioro is just a website that does like gaming reviews and stuff like that. And they had posted a article that it took Fortnite 16 days for them to reach a to them to reach a peak of 10 million players total. And Apex knocked it in 3 days.
You see what happened? That's
I
like
think
3 times.
They have a top of more than 1 million concurrent players as well.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah, that's
it's a
crazy.
testament to how just fun and easy it is to play. I mean, a lot of the things about Fortnite and like the learning curve is relatively short. You can get in and do something useful very quickly. If you die quickly, you're back in the game again in 3 minutes. You know, it's not like PUBG where you're waiting forever to get into a new game, or even worse, Blackout.
Yeah.
The thing I really like about it is the netcode seems really solid.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's not like Call of Duty where half the time if you die, you don't even know why, because you were behind cover for 2 to 3 seconds and all of a sudden bullets are hitting you because the netcode doesn't realize that you moved. Because,
really good.
yeah, the shooting mechanics are polished from Titanfall.
Yeah, so on that, the really cool thing about the shooting mechanics is I watch a lot of Shroud. Obviously, just he's huge, but he was saying on, I think, one of his streams 2 days ago or 3 days ago or something like that, he had a very big part in developing how the recoil and gunplay is in the game. They said that probably 60 to like 70% of the analytics of how the gunplay works was because that's what he wanted and like how he told him, based on like.
They actually went to a
Call of
pro.
Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
BR and
I was
everything
thinking
like
that is actually a genius idea. I mean, who are the people
Yeah.
that are going to know what the people want, other than the guys that literally do this for every day for the entire audience that's watching them, and that is a genius stroke by the developers to actually go in and say, listen, yeah, we're actually interested in what you have to say, and give us the input that we know we need to make this a successful game. And that's just clever planning. That's just clever planning.
And it shows. It really does.
Oh, three times. What is it? Three times the growth of Fortnite in their opening week. That's the biggest game that we've had for 2 years.
And you can see that also it's the design from the start to have like these microtransactions and stuff that you can buy skins and all that. So I think it's gonna be.
But it's not obtrusive.
Yeah.
No, and that's the other big part is like everything's feasible to unlock in the game. Like it's been out for just short of a week now, and I was able to unlock one of the characters. I bought one of them out because it was $10. The game's free to play, and you got some skins. And everything's total. It's viable to get whatever you want in the game just by playing.
And my own personal opinion is I think that Fortnite is the king because it was the only game.
Ah, very true. Very true.
So this is what I was just gonna get into is how many of these players right now that are on Apex are just looking for something other than Fortnite to play.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Probably
probably a
quite
lot
a
of them.
Probably a lot.
It's a big pace of play change between Fortnite. I mean, it's obviously it's still going to have its similarities. Every BR, I think, will. That's a first-person BR. But another, like, I was from the same Dioro company article that I was reading. Courage, who's probably one of the biggest Fortnite streamers besides Ninja, said that there's an issue with competitive Fortnite right now, and the fact that a company like EA, even though they're a AAA title company, drops a BR unreleased and announced and has competitive play that's 100% fair between every player in that game versus a company that's had their game out for, you know, over a year and a half now, truly says something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you think that's down to the input from the players once again, like saying what they really like find as a good and or a bad thing from the beginning, and just getting that aspect of it locked away without having to, you know, run it through 3 years of alpha beta testing, you know?
Well, starting from a clean slate is a huge advantage too.
That is true. That is true.
For Respawn, you know, because they know what doesn't work. They can look at Fortnite and say, "Well, this is what doesn't work."
Yeah, and they can look at Fortnite's progression and because they do an update. Is it every week or every 2 weeks? They update something in the game, or try to. They can look at it and go, "Well, this is breaking the game. We don't want to do that, right? Like, we don't want that kind of transition to come into our game." You know what I mean? Like balancing.
Yeah.
They can look at that game and kind of go, "Well, hey guys, thanks for pointing out that the community hates this. We're not going to do it."
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing. Hey, and
the question though is how they're gonna do with the like if they're gonna have competitive play, like I think right now it feels kind of squad based. Can it work if you play it solo?
Well, from what I've heard it's very much like a Fortnite cross Overwatch sort of environment. Is that an outlandish point of view? Is that accurate for people that have played both the games? Because that excites me, because I get very excited by Overwatch's team-based mechanics. And the only thing the only thing that really I thought Fortnite was really shit for me was the building, because I had absolutely no skill to build a wall and shoot at the same time. I mean, you guys have seen in any sort of gameplay, if you've been in a team with me, I'm just there to hold the medipacks and you loot me when I'm dead, because there's no way I can run around and build a freaking wall and shoot at the same time.
It's a major
That's
barrier
insane.
to entry.
Exactly. It's
like,
not
the learning curve
simulator.
is so steep in Fortnite. If you haven't been playing since the beginning, forget about it.
Yeah, you walk in, you get headshot from across the room by people like Flair that go like, "Oh, look at this! I'm building a pyramid underneath me, and there's the Sphinx on the side while I'm shooting you in the back." You know what I mean? These guys are ridiculously skilled because they've been.
But there's so much you have to know about, like why you would want to build with brick or wood or when, and where you get that stuff from, and the best place to drop, and all. You need to know so much information to even have a shot. Where in Apex, you can drop in pretty much anywhere, and as long as it's not a hot drop, you have a chance of having a decent game.
Well, there you go. You mentioned something about you back in the game in 3 minutes. Is that like just because the lobbies are quick moving?
Because you don't have the pre-lobby. Like in all the other BR games, when you start a game, you go into like a pre-lobby where you run around and can shoot and stuff. But in this game, there is none of that. You just starts.
It just starts, and then it just fills up with people, and then there you go.
Yeah. Because
games are quick too.
Yeah, they can be very quick. But you know, if you can stay in 13, 15, 20 minutes in a game, that's cool. But like Call of Duty Blackout, you could be in a game for 30 seconds if you got a hot drop, and then it's 10 minutes till you're back in a game again. Sometimes.
Do you think that that's attributed to the fact that it's really popular right now, and there's just a lot of people playing it? And will that mechanic come back to bite them when maybe it drops off in popularity in a few years' time?
Yes and no. Yes, I think it's definitely a contributing factor because they obviously have the population to make these lobbies move so quickly. And it'll be like any game, right? It'll run its life cycle and then it'll die down, and you like try and get a game in Titanfall.
Yeah.
It's like that, right?
But I think, we've all kind of learned that that's the nature of an online game. Is at some point you just got to realize that multiplayer aspect is just not going to be there because there's not going to be anyone to play with because they're all playing something else. You know, at the end of the day. What's up, Queen? Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of being able to quickly move into games because there's nothing worse than you sitting there for 100 years waiting and waiting and waiting. You literally land, someone shoots you from across the map, while you're trying to build like a doorway, and then
It was
another 20
it was
minutes
like
of waiting.
us doing the stream team podcast, and we'd play Ring of Elysium. It was us running for 5 minutes.
Exactly,
5-10
it was
minutes.
Mountain Climbing Simulator 2019, in which
Us
and I'm
running or
streaming
mountain
it,
climbing.
and it was like the most boring stream of all time. Literally, me running for 20 minutes, get shot in the face. Let's watch Flair win the game.
Yeah, so
That's the
yeah,
gist.
the mobility in Apex is very quick. If you play Titanfall, it's very similar where you're just zipping all over the map if you really want to.
Exactly. Yeah, running
Okay.
simulator, 100%.
There's only like one thing though. If we're gonna do some negative, like when you die, you drop these boxes with your loot in that you can loot, and you can't run through them. So
Oh, so they...
when people
Oh.
when people die in door openings,
so they have collision on the loot
you
boxes.
can't run through the door opening sometimes, and that's so
interesting.
annoying.
That must be
Although
bad.
There's a
I
thought,
kind
yeah.
of like that though, because if you think about it, if you're like, it almost should be that realistic. Because if someone dies, there should be a body or something blocking that part of the map, like a tripping hazard.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
someone has to
fallen
come
over
out
your
and put
body.
down cones.
It's still super annoying when you are in a door opening trying to jump out of fire and you get blocked by these boxes and you get shot.
Well, can you use them
Yeah,
as
that's-
cover at least? At the end of the day, then at least
I don't
I'll
know.
have a secondary usage. I'll run out in front, die. You can all run out and hide behind my box, loot the med packs, and use me as cover, boys. I've got another role.
Dory has 3 roles now. He's the medic, the distraction, and the cover.
That's
He's
it.
the box boy.
The guys are giving me more gameplay here. Straight up more gameplay. There it is. Being useful.
Yeah, the only like full bug that I've honestly seen is if you get knocked or you die. So you can get knocked and they're really quick reses, which is very, very nice.
Mhm.
The only honest bug I've seen is if you get knocked and like you're pushed against a corner, sometimes your box will fall into a wall and they can't recover your banner, which is just how you get resed again.
Okay.
And then it's not really a bug. I think it's just something that they need to change as far as timing. When you die and you're trying to make like a call out for a team, the like recovery, there's a little triangle that says recover or respawn. You can't see through it. So if your teammates are having like a firefight and that is directly in your line of sight, then you can't tell them where they're at, or you can't see where they're at. Or if you're shooting somebody, you can't see through your teammate's respawn triangle banner. So they could be sitting in a doorway, not knowing where you're getting shot from because you can't physically see a flash of their gun or what's getting shot at you. That's the only thing that I've seen that's kind of buggy, that I think once they drop, there should just be like a bottom banner bar just to say, blah, 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 needs a respawn or something like that nature.
Okay, all right.
Cool.
Norina,
Interesting.
you played a bit of Fortnite in your time. I mean, is this something that you think might make it into your gaming repertoire? You're willing to give it a go because of the low barrier of entry, or you think it might be something, might be worth your time?
Yeah,
Maybe?
I like it.
I know you're not much of a first-person shooter person, but I mean, we've run around and gotten shot together in Fortnite a few times, so I thought you might give it a go.
No, I do. I do like all types of games, including shooter games. I'm not good at them. My aim is terrible, but
Hey, join the club. Like I said, we've got our role now. We can be the cover and the med pack people.
Yes.
We've got 2 full squads up. We've got 2 medics here, boys. We're ready for 6 other
Yeah.
players.
No, I'm curious about it. I haven't actually played any Apex. I've watched like very little, so I don't really know a ton about it, but I do want to try it out. I do want to see what it's like. I just want to know more about it right now because I don't know much at this point.
But that's kind of the enigma about it. I wonder if that's what's causing so many people to give it a go, because there literally was no build-up. There was no hype. There was no, here's my 13 trailer videos from 2 years ago building up what should be in this game, building up expectations. It was literally like, psst, guys, there's a new game, check it out. And everyone's just like, what? Where did that come from,
There was a game a couple of years ago that did the same thing. It just dropped out of nowhere. I can't even remember what it was. But everybody was super hyped for it. Then like 3 weeks later the game was dead.
God.
Well, I don't know. This doesn't look like it's got a death null on its future at the moment, the way it's going.
No,
Because
it
it's
seems like
free. It's free, so it's.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Bye.
What
Battle
happened? Sorry, I
stations.
can't see chat.
Battle stations. We've got Captain Valhalla raiding the cruise ship and the Discord Boys podcast with her 21 glorious people. Welcome in, Valhalla Raiders. Good to have you with us, and welcome aboard. You'll recognize at
Wait,
least.
can I do flash hands again?
You can do flash hands on your iPad connection. Fantastic. Welcome in, everybody to the Discord Boys podcast. We've got special guests Norina1 and SlammedSix with us tonight, giving us all the latest info on life, the universe, everything gaming. At the moment, we're talking about Apex because who else isn't talking about Apex? So you've come into the glorious conversation that is that. Let us know in the chat if it's something that's exciting you. We're just busy discussing whether it's going to make it into our gaming repertoire. I might carry a few loot boxes for people to take off my back.
And like another big thing in Apex is that if you die, Dory,
Yes.
and you have provided cover with your loot box, we can grab your banner and then we can go to a station and respawn you, and you can go back into the game.
That is amazing. I'll get back in the game. Now we're talking. That's what I was always the weak link in the battle royale, and it was kind of cut because I would be sitting there, I'd be shot in the face in the first 10 minutes, then it's 25 minutes watching you and Flair win the game for me. I mean, it's great. I get a win on the board, but it's just like I felt like I was being carried slightly.
I can tell you this for sure. Fortnite's gonna implement this. At least try it out in Fortnite.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They'd be redundant not to.
That's true. Oh, thank you for reminding me that I actually forgot to turn on the stupid bot once again to get the chat commands working. My bad. Apologies for that.
Slam, let me ask you something here.
Yeah.
You were streaming Apex, what was it, Friday night, I think it was?
Yeah.
And you had the problem where your cursor kept getting locked in the center of the screen. Did you sort that out?
So I was looking that up the next day too. The one like Soul was saying, there's a fair bug that goes along with when you upload or when you load Origin. There's an Origin overlay that goes with the game, and it has a very buggy nature to it that when you're streaming it, because of the anti-cheat, you can't run a game capture on it. You have to run like a capture card or just a display capture of some sorts. And what happens with the overlay is your mouse gets locked to the center of the screen, and it thinks that there's a physical mouse like reticle on the screen. And if you disable the overlay, you can't like directly accept invites from friends. You have to join their party from their group, but it actually gets rid of it completely. So it's a really simple fix. I think they just need to do like a quick overlay rehaul, and then I think it's something that they could easily just have implemented that works great.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I run it in game capture.
Do you?
Yeah. I use Streamlabs. I don't know what you.
Yeah, I was using Slabs too. I don't know if it was. I think it was. It wasn't pulling it. It would only like actually physically catch the picture, in windowed full screen and on display, which is just
a really
weird,
convoluted way of doing it.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, if there's ever a problem with your stream, guys, don't forget to hit up Mega Gridman. This man can pull the rabbit out of a hat, graphics out of nothing. Yeah. It's amazing. Give us your workaround there, Mr. Mega.
So what I got is my main monitor is on DisplayPort, right? Mm-hmm. So I took an HDMI port on my graphics card and cloned it to the primary. So I've got monitor 1 and 2 as the same display. Yeah. But monitor 2 is actually plugged into the Elgato, which then loops back into the same computer over the USB, and I'm using the Elgato capture, and it's actually much faster and has less CPU overhead.
I did the exact same thing. I figured that sneaky trick out myself. It's because of
my
crappy
you can
CPU
definitely run it as a pass through. So like my Elgato that I have right now in the streaming PC, once it decides it wants to work, it's an internal one. So I have an HD60 Pro, but it's an internal card. So same thing, I can do it that way and loop it, but you can't directly duplicate displays with digital audio, because it wants to duplicate the audio signals, which is the finicky thing that I'm finding right now. So I'm going to have to go back and essentially just kind of mirror my displays without duplicating them, but it won't duplicate the audio as long as there's no signal sent back. I'm sure I'll figure it out eventually.
Of course, you could get an what's it called? A pass-through audio remover too. Just plug
Yeah.
it.
Right.
They're fairly inexpensive.
There we go, boys. Never let it be said that we don't know technical shit here on the Discord Boys podcast. You get learn something new every day with the technical support from Mega and Slammed here, coming at you live during the show. But so Apex is obviously now a dominating force. Is there anything else that's gonna be sneaking up on us? Do you guys have any inside info? Is there something we should know is coming in the future? Like, is this, like I said, this thing came out of left field. Is there something in maybe a different category that's coming that you guys are looking forward to, or anything like that? Anyone?
We have the Battlefield Battle Royale coming out, but I don't know. I'm hoping it's gonna be
Battlefield Battle Royale. You know, they had to jump on the bandwagon. It's almost like you can bring out Battle Chess Battle Royales coming out soon. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just waiting for.
I would buy that.
You know what I'm saying? Put BR on the end of any of your games, and it's an instant win. It's time
Smash
for Solitaire
Brothers,
Battle Royale. It's time for
Absolutely.
for Chinese Checkers Battle Royale. You know,
Smash Brothers BR.
Smash Brothers BR does sound fucking good though. I think
I'm in.
That is actually a plan. That is a plan.
Last man
I'd be
standing,
down for
yeah.
that. I'd be down for that.
That would be fantastic.
Apparently, Spellbreak,
Spellbreak, alright. Is anyone?
which I know nothing about.
I know nothing about.
I've
Spellbreak.
never heard of it.
Give us some information
only-
about Spellbreak in the chat, there, boys. Let us know. Come on, Bertie. Give us a link.
The only thing that I'm kind of excited for, and it's just because I played the beta and it was a lot of fun, is Anthem, and I have some friends who are getting it.
I have hopes for that. I really do, but
Yeah.
I just really trust EA to make a horrible mess of it.
So here's my thing: is I'm going in expecting that it's going to be a horrible mess, but it's fun to play for 8 hours.
Oh yeah, the combat when you're actually in it is great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How much is the game gonna be?
I think it's going to be a standard
Standard
title. I
60.
don't know what it is in US. I know it's like 80,
60.
85 in
Oh,
Canadian.
that just sounds scary. 85.
For 8 hours? That's not worth it.
It's
Not
$10
for
an hour,
me.
bro. There's better things you can do for $10 an hour.
But here's the thing. When it first comes out, it's going to be 8 hours, and then it's going to be broken. Then they're going to come out with some patches, and everybody's going to go back to it, and it'll be fun again.
Like Destiny.
Yeah.
Like Atlas.
Atlas.
Atlas Lord.
Yikes.
I am very much expecting it to be like Destiny, and I love Destiny.
I love Destiny
think
too.
Yeah, I like Destiny.
It was
The other thing for me is it's all about, like, this comes back to, I think, a conversation we've had on Discord voice before. For me, gaming isn't so much about the game anymore. It's about the people I play the games with.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
And so I have a lot of friends who are going to get it, and we're going to spend a few hours just hanging out, having some laughs, kind of like we do on Discord, except we're going to be killing things virtually.
Well, I mean that's an interesting perspective on things. It's something I think a lot of people really. It's not about what game it is. It's about who you're playing it with. Do you think that the battle royale format, because of the squatting and things like that, has made a lot more people have the chance to play with their friends, and there's the reason it's such a popular category at the moment? Like, or is it just because of the death of MMOs? There's groups of people with 20, 30 people looking for something to do together. You know what I mean? I mean, because we've all pretty much can admit that social gaming is always the better experience.
Oh yeah.
Do you think
And the games are starting to drive it as well now, because
100%,
not only do you do better if you're not with randos, but now they're actually giving you experience bonuses for playing with people in your friends list.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I
Are
know
they really?
They do that
Yeah.
in Overwatch too. You get
Apex
group
does it.
bonuses. Apex
Yeah,
does
same
it.
thing.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. It's all encouraging. I think because I think they've realized that at the end of the day, if you've got a community of people that are going to be doing this, they might as well capitalize on the fact that, oh, if one person says this is the game we're going to play, 5 other people are going to buy it anyway just to give it a go.
Yeah.
And
And everyone has a better experience if they're with friends, honestly.
100%, yeah. I mean, I played a bit of Anthem in the demos and the alphas and the betas and stuff like that, and it was cool. But I mean, like, Robert was there alongside with me. That gets into every beta that's ever been launched, and it was fun by myself. and with the randos, but as soon as we hooked up in a group, it just got a whole lot better. Like flying
Yep.
around, shooting stuff with the mates. You got that laughter on the voice chat. You know, check at this! I'm blowing this animal to smithereens. Wah ha ha ha! You know, or whatever you guys do, you know, in game, you know, that type of thing. It's always a lot more fun.
Another point for me, at least, like if you're playing a game and you're up with randos, you can kind of get like you can't really be edgy or like super comfortable making jokes with them, like certain jokes, right? Whereas if you are with a friend, you know that person's sense of humor, and it becomes a lot more fun.
Mhm.
Be, hey, look at
I'm doing this weird squatting
Here,
thing over
do
here. You
this
know
and-
what I'm doing, right? Meanwhile, you're in a group with
But
like
you know what I mean?
six 80-year-olds going, "This boy is disgusting. What is he doing here?"
He's making some Earl Grey.
He's making an Earl Grey tea, Leonard. What is he doing over there? I don't know.
but that like the way they play games and their sense of humor, it drastically, at least for me, it changes the way I play game.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just
Do you think that the
enjoyable.
developers actually need to put more time into their social aspects of the game? Like, I know it was a big thing in WoW in this latest expansion is they came up with a thing called communities. And for me, it was a massive reason that I had such a good time in the opening month or two that I played really, really hard in the battle for Azeroth was they gave you the ability to create a community on different servers with different people. So if you were in a random group and someone was actually a cool guy, you could be like, "Hey mate, jump into my community," and then it was like a cross-server guild, and you actually had a voice chat attached to that. So you could
That's pretty sweet.
it was almost like you had an in-game Discord server that you could build by randomly adding people in the game, and now that I built up a 20-man raid squad out of doing that, you know, and that's how we did Uldir and cleared Uldir for the first half of the expansion, was literally gathering the randos and forming a new community using the in-game tools. Is it a big thing that the developers need to
That
focus
sounds like
on?
a spring festival. The gathering of the randos.
Gathering the randos.
Around the maypole.
Is it something that they should focus on?
It sounds like some
that?
EDM festival.
I mean,
Tomorrowland, the day of randos.
would you say it's something that they need to put a lot of development focus on because it's going to pay dividends in the back end, or is it just something that like would be nice to have but you don't really care?
I think everybody genuinely enjoys having like a group to play with, no matter what. I honestly, as long as it's, you know, like there's obviously solo dedicated games like Resident Evil, you know, RE2 is a huge hit, but it's a solo based game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
think it is really important to focus on the community aspect, because what if you're somebody that's like, you know, just like, I don't know, say you're younger, you're just like getting into gaming, and like maybe most of your IRL friends aren't as into it. What if you're looking for new friends and you want to like actually like build a friends group of people that have common interests?
Exactly that, and
So
that can be a huge contributing factor to you returning to the game. Is meeting people online and in game. It does. You can create whole new communities that can maybe be a major impact on your daily life and daily gaming habits. I mean, if you found a bunch of people that you're having a really good time with 4 to 5 hours a night, you're gonna hang out with them more and more, and if the game can facilitate that, more power to doing it.
I really, really like the idea of community, like the community aspect in games. I haven't found one that works yet, if that makes sense. There are a number of games out there that have them. They just don't work well. There's always another app or something that works way better, like Discord or Skype or TeamSpeak or
GameSpy.
the party chat on.
Was that off your GeoCities page from back in the day?
Or for instance, like on consoles, you know, they have like in the game you have that community section, but it's always the friends list on the bases around the console and the party chat that's there. I have yet to find a community system in a game that works as well as any of those. And you say like WoW just introduced one, I'd be really eager to check that out because it sounds like they've done a good job.
It is. It's actually one of the best community things that I've seen in a game. Like you were saying, you've never seen it, and I was thinking, actually, I think that WoW is the only thing I've seen that actually got it right, and I think it saved their butts for quite a bit. but it also did expose one of the bigger things about WoW that I think is hurting it at the moment is the limitations you have based on the fact that it gets very server based. Thanks for the ear destruction, Soul. I appreciate that. It's very server based. Like if what they did was they gave us the tool for building a community to do that, but they limited our ability to raid Mythic, which is the end game hard level, until 100 Horde guilds and 100 Alliance guilds had finished the content. So now we're sitting as a group of 20 people. We've finished all the heroic. It's too easy for us. We can't physically go to the next level because 1,000 Horde guilds have finished the content, but 3 Alliance guilds have finished it because who the fuck plays Alliance? Like, and what a shit fucking faction. Hashtag Horde for life. But, you know, at the end of the day...
Sell out.
It was a simple thing. Like the horde dominated, and the horde dominates. The Alliance didn't catch up. It was a bad mechanic to put in place because you know what happened to my community? They fucking died because everyone sat there going, "Well, there's actually nothing to do, guys. We're gonna have to just find someone who's on our local realm, join an actual guild. Even though we enjoy playing with you, we can't because we've done all the content that we can because they gated us behind a game mechanic that destroyed the community aspect of it. And I think that was just bad planning on their part."
Yeah,
Do you
that
think
sounds
they'd
bad.
ever change it to just being total number of kills regardless of being Horde or Alliance?
I hope so, because I think at the end of the day, the faction imbalance is a big problem they're having with that game. If you look at the latest world first race with Method and the rest of them, literally top 20 guilds, all Horde, 1 Alliance. You know what I mean? Like 19-to-1 ratio, basically. It's a mad problem, and I don't think there's a way for them to get around it now, because what's happened is everyone's gone Horde because everyone's playing Horde because all their friends are Horde. So now everyone who was Alliance has changed to Horde anyway. So now there's just no Alliance left because, you know, everyone's gone one side because you can't physically speak to the other faction. If you're running around as a Horde character in WoW and you run into an Alliance person and you try to speak to them, it comes out like hippity up 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 beep beep, and you're just like, I don't even know what this guy's saying. He's
How was
dancing
it?
in front of me. Beep beep beep. You know, literally some random shit spews out of their mouth and you have no idea. So they've limited the communication. And it's for storytelling reasons. I appreciate that, because if I'm speaking Orcish and he's speaking human, I shouldn't be able to understand it. But on a practical level, you know, at the end of the day, it's a fuck up. If you're going to time gate my content behind a dead faction, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. They need to be very careful on how they do their community-based integration, I think, is my point. Because if you're going to you're going to grow your community really well. if you're going to grow your community really well, you know, and then time gate it behind a game mechanic, you're only shooting yourself in the foot, because everyone goes, "This is amazing. We can't do anything now. Now we got a good bunch of friends and we gonna run world quests because fuck my life." You know what I mean? So it ends up dying, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. I mean, have you guys experienced a similar thing like that in any other games where you've been time gated behind a mechanic, or been limited in what you can do, where you have a community ready to go but you actually just can't do it? Anyone?
No, can't really think of anything.
So it's a WoW specific problem.
I'll say, yeah, I think the only other thing it's going to relate to is like Elder Scrolls. I played a ton of ESO online and everything like that, and it's the same thing when you go into PvP zones. And you know, if you're Alliant or something like that with them, it's just, you know, you get ganked 10-to-1, and it's at that point, even if you're playing with, you know, 5 people, it's whatever. But if you're outnumbered, you're outnumbered. It's irrelevant to what you can do. And then at that point, it takes away from, you know, the physical gameplay.
Yeah. Norina PFE wants to know your opinion on the meta.
I see. About what specifically?
I think what I was asking about, if you've ever had anything like that, or did you experience the same thing? Because I mean, you played WoW.
In WoW, yeah.
Yeah, I watched you.
In other games, no, not really. WoW is pretty much it.
Yeah, I think it can be very specific, game specific, that particular problem. But yeah,
I'm trying to think of the other MMOs I've played. Most of the time I played them because I was already part of a community that was playing. That makes sense? So like my friends were playing the Old Republic, which is why I played the Old Republic.
That was good old days, baby. That was good old days before they went pay to win.
Yeah.
I used to be one of them bounty hunters tanks. That was super fun.
Who needs
I
a
love
soundboard?
the sound effects.
Speaking of bounty hunter,
There we go. He's got it.
Nice.
He's an official bubba. We got him in the chat.
Oh man.
That is an amazing
Always.
piece. That is an amazing piece. Love it.
Nice.
Very, very cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, and we all saw what happened to frickin' and this is the whole thing. I mean, MMOs. Oh, what is happening? We talk about it, I think, almost every podcast. But why do they keep dying? Is it just our age group that fell in love with the MMO concept, and the new people can't do it because they're too busy playing mobile games that take 20 minutes? Have we become too uninvested in gaming?
I don't know.
We're going back to the instant gratification conversation.
Yeah, we do tend to end up there most of the time.
See,
We know what we
because
want.
I think Final Fantasy 14 is free with it.
I loaded
Amazon,
it
I
up. I actually spent a good 25 to 35 minutes at the character creation screen in that game. It was super fun.
that's the best.
It was super fun. I made an amazing cat-like creature that can do cool stuff, and I was like, this is really cool. I don't know. I think for me, character creation is a huge part about those type of games. Like, you really get invested in a character when you can customize everything down to the cheekbones. You know what I mean? Like where you move things around. That's what it's all about. Then you like when you load in and you see yourself in the cutscenes, and you're like, yeah, there it is. That's fun.
Do you guys ever have this thing where you're creating a character and you change one thing, and then you go back to like the overall look of your character, and somehow you've just destroyed it? So you're like, all right, I guess I'm making a hideous person right now.
Just done at that point.
You just go with it all the way to the end, and you like there's times you're like, okay, I need to try and fix this, and then it just comes out worse. You're like, I'm just going down a slippery slope. It's just gonna be, let's go.
Well, that's why if you look at all the characters that were in Atlas and Ark, I mean, it's like dudes that look like freaking carrots and like weird things. I don't know. People lose their minds. I guess there's too many sliders. Just slide
Reverse
to the max.
inverted rib cage.
That's it. Yeah. Looks like the guy's been eating like toothpicks, but working out a lot while eating toothpicks. Kind of strange, but I mean, yeah, that's my favorite part about those type of games is actually the character creation and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think that on that note, I think that if a AAA company were to take over an open world builder game / PvP, I think they could do something great. Because I have probably on Xbox before I started on PC again, I had probably 4,000 hours into Ark over the course of like 3 years from the time that it got beta released. And that was my only game that I ever played. Didn't matter. I'd have weekends, I'd be off school or off work, and it was, 16-hour nights doing raids, whatever it was. But I would genuinely like to see a business or company take on a game like that could actually put in the effort and work to not make it buggy. Like if you had like a Titanfall universe, but in a builder format that had PvP mixed into it, you're taking, a lot of different genres of like what people like and what people want and putting them all into one area.
Especially if I can take my Titan and stomp on all your stuff.
But that brings up to like another thing. Like that's a lot of fun if you're doing the stomping. But if you've taken 16 hours to put that pot plant in the right place inside the thing, and some fucking dickhead comes along in his Mecha Man and stands on your shit, I'm gonna lose my mind. That's not a compelling gameplay. That's just pissing me off.
I have a love-hate relationship with those types of games because it's so hard to invest the time that is needed for those games, but when you can, it's so rewarding. I used to play Rust a lot.
Oh yeah.
And you'd get on a server, and we'd look for, like when me and my friends would play, we always look for like a medium-sized one because if you go into a populated server, you can't even get started. There's 100 people in a Rust server, it's game over as soon as you spawn. But so you'd look for like 30 to 40 people, so there's still action all over the place, but it's not, you join, you die, you join, you die. And you can get a little base going, and then you go and try and find other people who are starting a little base, and you try and take their stuff, make it your own, and then you start a war, and it becomes really fun. But again, you need to put hours and hours and hours into that. nowadays, who has the time?
Yeah, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem.
I agree.
I mean, Norina, you play a lot of Stardew and things like that. Do you get the community-based building thing out of that without the edgy PvP side? Is that more of an appealing gameplay mechanic for you than having Mega Gremlins, Mega Man come and stomp on all your Stardew crops?
I mean, I'm glad that people can't just like ruin my farm. So, you know, looking at that, it's kind of nice. But, you know, I've also been playing it as single player. I haven't really been playing that as multiplayer. And then, I don't know. I keep thinking about like Minecraft, you know,
Yeah, Minecraft. That's a good
building and
example, actually. You've got a
building
good couple of Minecraft.
PvP, Minecraft, Hunger Games, all the mini games, and like I don't know, being on servers with people, and like you can potentially have your stuff like destroyed unless you have like claim blocks and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's kind of like where my mind was going, and it's like I don't know. Some people really love being able to like put, you know, endless hours into a game and like build all these crazy things and stuff. Um, but if you have like another person, like if your stuff is not protected and somebody else just comes in and like destroys all of your stuff, you're like, I put so much time and effort into this. Now what do I do? Now I'm just like devastated that everything's gone.
Exactly. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Mega Gremlin.
So I kind of want to ask something here, like to anyone who's played the like PvP style games like that, the build 'em PvP style games. When you raid someone, are you guys like a nice raider or an evil raider? Like, do you destroy everything or do you leave
bro,
them stuff?
I'm a dickhead, bro. I'll find where you've hidden that pot plant and I'm gonna smash that bad boy. That thing's going down.
Here's my thing. I always like take stuff, but I always leave them stuff so that they can kind of build because I want them to come after me. I want that fight. I want us to have like that. To me, that's the fun side of the game. Like that's what I want.
You just want to piss them off enough that they gather their troops and try to test your defenses.
Yeah, and then they come at us, and then it fuels us to go back at them and do this. It's just this cycle, and it's what makes the game enjoyable.
See, I'm with Major Happy Pants, bro. I want to get in there and decimate you so hard you just rage quit and you're done. You change servers because you know,
dude, Foundation
he's coming
Light.
back. He's coming for you. He's coming for you.
I can just see Dory pushing the last base off the counter on the way out the door.
He's that little cat that could just
pull a full Garfield, baby. Just click
this is coming from someone who's done like both, who's been the dickhead raider and the nice raider. It prolongs, like it drags out so much longer in a good way. Like it's.
100, I agree.
When you get in there and raid someone, it gives you the advantage to go and get better loot. But then all of a sudden, once all your loot's gone, or most of your loot's gone, you're like, well, I've got just enough to get into the little rad town from Rust. Hopefully get some good loot, go back in there and get all my stuff back and some of theirs.
Yeah, you're the nice guy. You're a Canadian raider.
Hello, I'll be a raider for today.
That's it. Hi,
when
sorry
you
about
live
this.
in a frozen tundra, you don't leave you leave them something to survive. It's not fair for them.
Yeah.
Robert says he'll even break the house down and terraform the land back to its original state just to confuse them when they arrive back and go, what the fuck just happened? Do we have a rollback?
So I've also done some pretty bad things too, where you raid someone and you destroy their house, but then you also build a new building around them with like locks that they can't access.
Nice.
What is the worst thing that you guys have done in a game? We now know what Canada's done here. He's locked someone else in their own house. What is the worst thing you guys have done to someone else in a game like that? Norina, tell us. How bad has it been? What have you ravaged on a farm somewhere?
Oh man. You want to go ahead, Norina? Go ahead.
I don't really do mean things to people. Like,
that's why I asked the question. Like, she must have done something once. Someone pissed her off.
I don't know. I know some friends would like kind of think it was funny to put like obsidian around somebody else when they were AFK, but
so you did the same thing as Soulclave. You just built shit around them, and they wake up in a box.
I didn't.
But that's like it. I don't do stuff like that. I like to work with other people, not like troll other people.
She's a good teammate. She's a good teammate.
So the
I might
thing with
build a
Ark
smiley
is...
face or something.
So Ark has like a really like weird based like building / PvP when it comes to like there is no end game really, but when it comes down to like who you're fighting, they have just with the amount of buildings and stuff that you can do. Honestly, as shitty as it sounds, the options are endless to how bad you want to be with that game.
Oh,
Yep.
But
oh yeah.
it's
Yep.
it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
it got down to the point where like we had friends that would play that had more hours than I did that were hand in hand with people that were part of mega tribes when that started becoming a big thing, and the megas would run a few servers, and then those couple groups would jump on one server real quick one night, and we would just run down the entire server. It didn't matter who was in there or who we were going for. But the worst that you could ever get was the people that would knock you out, put you into a cage, and then feed you and give you water to keep you alive, and you literally could not get your character out at all until somebody came and destroyed the cage.
Wow.
And I had one time
Prisoners.
where I made the second. I had one for 14 days, like a full-on 2 weeks, where every day I logged in, I was still alive, and I was just at that point I didn't care. I was done. But nah.
So the other thing with me building bases around people and locking them in their own base, I would also leave them signs.
Oh, well, Major Happy Pants just said, Soul Claim shows up, cleans the house, plants some food, folds the laundry, and leaves a note. You've been raided by Soul Claim. Enjoy the laundry.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like, I haven't really played any of those building games.
I haven't either.
I think the worst I've done is probably teabagging people.
The classic teabag.
The classic.
The classic teabag. And you, Gremlin?
Yeah, spawn camping maybe.
Spawn camping, yeah.
Like egregious spawn camping. Spawn mining maybe.
Spawn
you know?
mining. You mine everything away from him so he's left on a pedestal in the middle of a surrounding lava pit or something. Cool. Yeah, so I mean gaming has been very important. Who can actually check in the topic list there that we have in the Discord and just see what else we had?
Well, I've got it.
That was all covered.
I can't.
I know you can't today. Our research man is on an iPad, so we have to reach out.
How's my audio, by the way? Because this is probably what it's going to be like in Florida, except I
It's
might
actually
not have
fine.
good internet.
I just had to
it's
figure
not
out
bad.
your volume levels.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Sorted it out now.
Okay.
Occasionally, I can hear you
Other than
breathing.
a
It
little
sounds like
breath
you might be a
noise.
little tired.
All right.
So, let's talk about suing your parents for consuming.
Oh, no.
Here we go. We're going into failing as a human race once
Oh,
again.
damn.
I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but I actually spotted it in the news the other day, and this is what we're about to touch on now. Is there's an actual guy. Now, this is where I start to lose faith in humanity on a daily basis. He has decided, and let me know in chat if you agree or disagree with this guy. He has decided to sue his parents. The reason being, he did not give his consent to be born. And therefore he is now entitled to be paid for the rest of his life by his parents because he did not ask to be born into this world, and why should he put up with the shit that is going on a daily basis in life? I mean, seriously. Please, before I rant, what are your guys' opinions on this
I want you to know.
topic?
That's ridiculous. Live your life. Deal with stuff. Grow up.
Yeah.
I am betting you will see the anger build up in me over the next part of this conversation.
I could tell you in the U.S. you wouldn't have standing. I mean, you could file the suit, but
But I mean, I don't think it's gonna be taken up even because he hasn't been up to court or anything, right?
He's
no,
submitted
it's just a
the thing
filing,
or
I
whatever
think.
it is. He
I mean,
submitted it, but
it's in India though, right?
That's
So I don't know how their
yeah,
jurisprudence works. But I know in the U.S. you don't have the ability to consent to anything until you reach majority or you're emancipated.
so his
So-
parents would have the
I was
rights.
just gonna
Your
say
opinion in the matter is actually irrelevant.
Do you think he has a point? Does anyone think he has a point that he
No.
that you
No.
shouldn't be able to?
No.
You should be able
100%
to have a
irrelevant.
say in something like that. Like, should you be compensated for choices your parents? Okay, let's not make it so extreme. should you be
Then why
compensated
not
for,
sue your parents for not
Are
letting
you
you
gonna
date when you're
ask an
12?
egg if they're okay being born?
Right?
Well, okay. Well, let's not. Okay, we all realize that he's an idiot. Okay, so we all agree
Yeah.
on that. It's not a
Like,
difficult.
Yeah,
It's just,
we're
it's just
all on that same page.
ridiculous.
It's a stupid thing. It's a stupid thing. But let's dilute it slightly. Should you have the ability to hold your parents accountable for choices they make about your life before you are over a specific age? And what determines the specific age that makes it the correct age of determination? What should your parents be able to say? This is your life, but until you reach X number, I'm in total control of your life. When is it right, and when do you think you should have control over your own life?
When your
We've
parents
decided as a society.
knowingly make decisions that are worse for you, then I think you've got a point. I mean, if they're deciding they're going to try to get you addicted to methamphetamine because they think it's great, I think maybe you got a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
Gotta try it once.
Yeah, so this is
Don't
kind of
be weak, son.
my thing. I don't think that it's hard to put a specific number on, because for the most part you would imagine that a parent just wants their kid to have the best life they possibly can, but then you also have situations where the parent is not able to or not stable enough to do that, and so they can't see that they're making a poor choice.
Right.
Well, I mean, like we've always said, you have to have a license to own a TV, you have to have a license to own a gun, you have to have a license to drive a car, but anyone can have a kid. Like, you know, there's no qualifications to be a parent other than, you know, making it happen. Anyone can do it. You know,
Depends on.
No one writes a test to say I know how to raise a child, but everyone gets a chance to do it.
Yeah, but places where they decide who can and can't have children.
I'm not saying
Tend to
decide
not
who
do
can
well.
and can't as a government decide, but should you have a
Yeah.
competency test? Like, should you have some sort of, listen here, you're gonna have a kid. Here's a basic education program that you have to attend for at least 9 months to give you an idea of how to be a parent, or compulsory attendance for 2 years.
We do kind of do that, though. I mean, you know, someone
Prenatal
displays
is
their
what it
well,
is.
not prenatally, but postnatally. If they demonstrate that they're unfit parents, you take the child.
Are they effective systems? I mean, are these things working? Are the amount of horror stories you hear these days, it's not working too well.
Well, true.
For a lot of people. Is there a better way to do it?
Isn't there a theory like that? Like the population is getting dumber because all the smart people are busy not making children?
That is something I've never thought about, but that is a fair enough assessment.
I have actually read a Reddit thread about that, to be honest.
Say no more. Cite that source.
What do you think, Norina? I mean, are we losing humanity down the drain? Are all the clever people too busy designing good games and making money, and all the silly people are just sitting at home playing the wrong game? Clearly.
I have too many thoughts going in my head right now about all this stuff. I mean, like so obviously out of all the people in this call right now, I'm the only person that is capable of having a child.
That's why your opinion is valid.
And also, I mean, I think there's a lot of truth in the fact that, like, a lot of, like, more educated people are not having kids. They're, like, living their life and doing their thing, and, like, maybe other people are just like, okay, well, we don't really know what else to do with our lives, so we're gonna have kids. Not to say that that's, like, the only perspective. There are tons of perspectives out there, but yeah.
She agrees. We're getting dumber, boys. We're getting dumber.
I think there's some truth to it.
How many of this, you know, our generation's really genuinely smart people were parented by Olympic grade dumbasses? You know what I mean? I don't think there's a 1-to-1 correlation.
That's true, actually. That's also true.
But I mean, so there are so many things that you could get into, like with, like, genetics and other things that are passed down, like, through your family, through your genes and stuff. So I'm not an expert on all of this, but like those things make a big difference. So I kind of feel like I can't say that you guys are not experts, but like we can't really like have the most educated discussion about this because we don't have that background.
But I mean, you can have an opinion on it. I mean, at the end of the day, do you think it's a genetic thing? Do you think it's a socialization thing? You know, what are these influences that we're getting here that are producing people like this guy that decided that he's too good for us and needs to sue his parents for bringing him into the world? I mean, it's to me, it's just a case of people seem to be getting like, I don't know, more entitled than ever before.
Oh, I wonder though how much it is attention. Maybe he has other motives than maybe he just wants attention. It's in world news, and I don't know.
But I'm sure our grandparents said that about our parents as well. I mean, you know, if the trend line was really as bad as it seems like it is, we'd have died out long ago.
I don't know, bro. It's feeling like the dinosaurs are coming. But I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. A society. I think we're just changing as a society. Definitely, the way things used to be done is long gone, and we're in a weird generational gap. Like, I know we're all different ages and stuff here, but I fall into the category that's in between the Generation X's and the Millennials. So it's a weird position where I grew up before the internet. But while the internet was being born, so I'm not afraid of it. But I've not grown up with the internet, and therefore have no perspective on what it was like beforehand. You know, gotcha. So you know, I'm in a weird position where I can say, yeah, it did actually. There were some good things back there, but I'm not scared of where we're going here. But I'm a little bit scared of what the fuck is happening, trying to go from A to B, because the people that are born on the we've got technology side don't look like they've got the idea of how bad it used to be back in the day, and don't realize how easy they got it now, or they've got like a completely different mindset. You know, I don't know if you guys experienced that thing within your generational gaps. I mean, do you guys have the same sort of opinion?
I mean,
Jimbo.
Yeah. I remember as well. Like when I was a kid, I didn't have a cell phone, didn't have internet. So it was like.
So you fall into the same generational gap as me, where.
Yeah, but I guess I was a bit younger than you, though. I was like.
Maybe just a little bit. God, I still remember getting my Nokia 2110 when I was about 14, and wearing it to the mall proudly. It was like the size of my hip.
I had a pager, so.
A page, exactly. Oh my God, I remember the pager phase as well.
Pagers.
Who remembers pagers? Jeez. Pagers back in the day.
Do you remember? So I witnessed this one day. Do you remember someone getting in an argument about the difference between a pager and a beeper?
Okay, explain to me the difference between a pager and a beeper. One just beeps and the other one gives you the message, right?
I think so. I don't exactly know the difference. I never had one. I was too young when they were like phasing them out to have one. But I remember seeing two guys in the one town near my house getting into an argument over the differences between them. And I'm like,
welcome to Canada. We have fights over the difference between pagers and beepers. Here we go,
so,
boys.
Yeah, originally
it's time to throw down.
The pager would beep, right? And you would call one number every time. Like you would call, if you were a doctor, you'd call the hospital every time the thing went off because there was no display. It just would alarm.
Saying that someone needs you, right? Kind of the idea.
And the original, the hospital would have a radio tower on top that would actually activate your pager. Like it wasn't like a nationwide system it was actually a radio to radio thing.
Yeah, I remember that, man. That's some old school tech there. Now we got Google Glass where you can look at someone's face and see their Facebook page next to them.
Creepy.
Yeah, I guess we have another topic of ban phones in schools. Maybe that's kind of what's weird.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I mean, I was discussing this, I think, on Friday with some of the ladies on the other one. And
with Snappy, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and like my opinion on it is, I don't think and it's just my opinion. I don't think that cell phones should be on the kid's person during school hours. I see it as a huge distraction. For me, I think it has its benefits in that you can be contacted as a parent with your kid all the time, whatever. But during a classroom environment, we have all been children. We know what's going to happen if you've got a gaming device in your pocket while they're talking about maths with letters in it and you don't understand and you don't care. Out comes the Fortnite and the PUBG. You know
I think
what I mean? Like
the phone is probably the worst part of it. Or
That's
the
it.
photographs.
I mean that too. That side of things
I
too.
mean, just add the teacher's phone as a parent instead, and you can call the
Well,
teacher.
that's what I mean. People say, "Oh, but I need to get hold of my kid in case of an emergency." Well, how the fuck were you doing it before they had a cell phone? You phoned to school and you were like, "Johnny needs to come home. The dog's been hit by a bus." You know what I mean? So fucking,
Yeah.
There's always a way to get hold of Johnny. He should be in class, listening to the lesson. If there's a problem, get him out of class, take him and do the thing. You don't need to have him in constant 24-hour contact, as a thing. But it's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's something that kids should have on them at any time?
So I'll give you my personal experience. When I was in school, like when I was in public school, right, like elementary school, didn't have a phone. High school, I did. There was a strict rule: you weren't allowed phones in school. I took my phone to school and I turned it off when I was in class. It's what I did. And the teachers, all my teachers, they knew I had a phone on me, and I told them, I turn it off when I walk in the door. It's like, and they were like, okay, that's fine. One day, I forgot to turn my phone off.
It's always the one day.
One day, I forgot to turn my phone off in class, and someone texted me and my phone went off. My teacher asked me about it. I'm like, sorry, I'll turn it off right now. As I was turning it off, someone else in the class saw that I was getting in trouble and texted me. As I was turning my phone off, and the teacher's like, all right, give me the phone.
Busted.
So I gave him my phone. But I told them I'm turning it off, and they're like, well, too late now. And so they took my phone away. And I was like, okay, it's the rules. You don't break them.
And that's fair enough. Like, at the end of the day, that's a fine system.
But this was also before your phone was everything. Like, your phone was a game system. Exactly. So I think absolutely no phones in school.
Jimbo, what do you think?
Yeah, but you also have I know when you take tests and stuff like that in university, you get you can use the internet and you can
So I guess it depends on what test you're taking. I couldn't use anything on my tests.
But I guess it could be for kids, it's gonna be a huge distraction.
I'm not against using technology in the school to enhance the learning experience. Give them iPads instead of books. I'm all for it. Save the trees, all that type of shit. But at the end of the day, a phone, your personal phone, is not there to aid you in an educational process. It's literally a distraction or a communication device or a gaming device 99% of the time. I mean, even down to the point where people are using this. Imagine WhatsApp groups. No one needs to pass notes in class anymore. You got a WhatsApp group. You send your mate a message. hey, here's the thing, No one's passing the notes in the back end. Sally, here's the notes.
You're passing notes.
Or do you like me?
I was just gonna say you're passing notes. You're passing notes between recess to find out if you're gonna ask a girl out.
Now you're hitting her up on WhatsApp video during mess. Hey, baby, what's going on?
Oh, jeez. That only goes terribly wrong.
Norina, what do you think?
I mean, kids need to learn about the technology as well, but maybe not with using phones.
That way,
Yeah.
You don't think phones should be used, huh?
No, I don't. I mean, I think it. I mean, I don't know how schools are doing things these days, but I think it'd be good to have certain, I don't know, iPads, tablets, computers, whatever, in the classrooms, and you just sign in to your account, teach kids how to do those kinds of things in the beginning, early on, and have a system like that where they're still able to access all of the files that they need for whichever class, and they're able to maybe access it from home as well, but not necessarily be able to message each other during class and be distracted by games or whatever else they're doing on their phones or anything. like, and I guess that's also like having limited access to what they're allowed to view on those devices at the school as well, which I think they already have things like that in place.
Yeah.
So that's
The-
kind of where I'm at.
I agree with that, and that it definitely shouldn't be personal devices. That's 100%. And this is coming from someone who's had assistive devices for school all his life. But I will say one thing: all the protective stuff that the school has, all the kids know how to get around that nowadays.
100%, bro. 100%.
Oh yeah.
There was like my generation knew how to get around it and abuse the system and did horrible things on the school computers.
Yeah.
I didn't partake in that because it was school stuff and I didn't want it to come back and bite me in the ass.
Sure.
But I know some people who did, and it is awful.
Exactly. I mean,
And like, you go home and it's so easy to just find out how, like, because of the internet, you can go home and find out how to get around all your stuff at school and make it easy.
that's it. I mean, there's millions of websites telling you how to get around any security measures. It's out there. For every fence, there's a bigger ladder. You know, at the end of the day, it's there. We've got the knowledge. People are going to find it. Half the time, the kids know more about the internet security than the people that are putting the internet security in place. You know, just because of the nature of the fact that they have grown up with this technology, it's so integrated into their lives. They know it better than someone who learned it when they were 30. You know what I mean? So it's just a natural affinity that the younger generations have for technology than the older generations who are putting these security measures in place.
I would equate it to almost riding a bike.
Okay, explain.
Like most kids, when I was growing up, knew how to ride a bike. Not all, but most kids, right? You learned how to ride a bike. It's something you kind of never forget. Whereas you try and learn how to ride a bike when you're 30, it becomes very difficult.
True.
Kids growing up with all this technology, they can instantly pick it back up and figure out, you know, the loopholes and how to work around it. Whereas someone who's, again, learned it when they're 30, they're still trying to understand the core basis of the system, not knowing all the little quirks of the system.
Yeah.
When you're 30, people aren't as excited about holding the bike up while you ride it.
I guess it depends on who's riding the bike, though, right?
they kind of like everyone kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, you don't know this? You don't know how to do that nowadays?" You know what I mean? When you're trying to learn that.
Yeah. Loki
Or
says,
a lot of people
says in the chat that he feels like people that take picture notes of the board and stuff, it actually affects your ability to remember things that normally you'd remember when you physically write it down. And that's a fair enough point, too. I mean...
Absolutely.
Reinforcing it, yeah.
We had this discussion in the instant gratification where I've been saying that for years. You don't have to retain any information you have, which is you just go to Google.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have to remember
it takes 3 seconds to find out just about any information you don't have to retain anything anymore, and it's sad.
We just not forming those neural pathways in the brain at a basic level because you just like, I can not remember it, and it takes less effort to type it in Google and go search and find what I need than actually going, I'm going to learn this so that I can remember it at any point during my life, because you just naturally know you're always going to be connected. And woe behold, the internet dies, gentlemen and lady. We're going to be fucked. Because no one's going to know a thing. Everyone's going to be...
Wait, we've got the South Park solution. We go to the internet and we unplug it and plug it back in.
The classic IT fix, 100%. 100%.
In Sweden, we call that the Norwegian solution.
Norwegian solution. Well, Potsy says that's why we have smart bikes now. You know, we don't even have to learn to ride the bikes. The bike knows how to do it. We're just there for the ride. But yeah,
excuse me for a moment.
It is what it is. No problem, Brew. No problem. You know, that's why I say there's nothing wrong with the integration of technology into society. I think, but you got to put some sort of limitation on the younger people, because as much as Robert says that it's he's someone that just finished high school 2 years ago, and it's not like what we think, where there's big, you know, people messaging each other in school and these huge chat groups. I have to say, from what I've seen, it's actually maybe you guys have missed it, Robert, in your generation, but it's happening a shitload now with the people that are around about 10, 11, and 12. I mean, I'm I'm on a Pokemon Discord, which I run here on the island, and I would tell you that we get messages during the day from kids that are in class. We had the one guy video his other mate playing Pokemon in the middle of class and send it to the Discord going, check, I just caught this thing in the middle of class. So you can like see the teacher talking on the other side, and he's busy fucking Pokemoning in the middle of class. That shit is happening, and to me, what the hell is going on? Are we letting that happen? So yeah, I mean, it has its pros and its cons. Yeah. Slam, what do you think? I mean, you haven't weighed in on the subject.
No, no. I mean, I graduated 9 years ago now, so it was the same thing. Kind of Soul said that phones weren't phones. A lot of kids at my high school, we had them. I didn't get. My parents wouldn't let me have a phone until I turned 17. They said you're not going to get a car till you graduate, and you're not getting a phone till you can finish your ACT test. And that was just the rule of thumb. That's how it was. And I lived with it. I didn't get, an iPhone right away or an Android. It was just like a simple slide phone with a camera that my parents said, if I got to call you and you got to call us, that's all it needs to be. You don't need anything more. And I'm with it. I think that it's crazy to see how fast, society has changed to the point where like technology now needs to be part of people's lives. And I say this because when I went and got a phone a few months ago from my brother at Apple, and there was a family in there, and they had a daughter who was honestly probably no more than 9 or 10, and they kept just reiterating, it's your birthday, what do you want? And they said, well, look at this phone, this kind of thing. And she kept going towards like the most expensive iPhone and everything like that. And they're like, well, that's more expensive than it needs to be, kind of thing. And it ended up being where, I think for regardless of what they picked her up, but she went in there and probably not
like,
barely
iPhone
even
10
old enough
plus
to
64 gig
right.
Let's go.
Exactly. And that's kind of how it ended up being. I think she, it ended up getting that, and it's.
But Mom, all the girls at school got the plus. How can I not have the plus?
That's it. As I think nowadays, it's if you don't have that social status and you're not part of that cliche group, then I think people genuinely see you differently. Like regardless what the rules are, like if you don't have your phone, are you cool enough or anything like that? And I think it plays like a big factor into like why a lot of the kids and the children like bring their things to school. Like is your status quo in social society today make up that?
Well, that's what so we're actually now finding an effect on children that your cell phone determines your coolness level. This just adds to the thoughts that what the fuck are we doing here? Like we're opening them up to another whole way to be bullied. Because they've got a Samsung 4 and we've all got the Samsung 24, and who the fuck are you? You're not hanging out with us. No one has a Chrome screen anymore, buddy. You get out of the cool kids circle. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what do you mean you use like a text message? We use WhatsApp. All that.
Yeah.
It's just so many layers that you're adding on to it seems like opening up more can of worms than it solves this problems to me.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to mention two things. You were talking about everybody bringing all their stuff into school and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why when you said that it made me think of this. It just did. I remember in grade 2 bringing my Razor scooter in for show and tell.
Oh yeah,
like that's the kind of stuff
but
we did when we were kids.
That plays into what Major Happy Pants has just said. There's always going to be something like that. Just the phone is the latest version of that fad, and that's a fair point too. That's a fair point.
We brought our toys on us.
That's true. I've got the latest He-Man. Get out of here.
And then we had like the trade. You could trade with each other, and then there would always be someone that was gonna go home crying to his mother because he didn't really want to trade that toy. Then it was all.
Right. Yeah, I remember Pokemon cards, man. Woof.
So
status quo of clothes, everything.
But that brings up another point I want to make. Do you think kids nowadays understand the value of $1?
Not a fuck.
No.
Like not at all.
But
right?
that's
I don't think they ever have though.
It's all relative, yeah.
So I don't so much mean like kids as in like little kids. I mean like people who should be out working that aren't, I guess is a better way to put that. Because they don't understand their parents have raised them that they just give them everything. They don't understand how much something actually costs or how much work it takes to go out and get that.
Well, can I make a fitness analogy with that?
Sure.
You don't understand how many calories are in a Big Mac until you have to get on the treadmill and get rid of it.
Until you scan the box and your mouth goes, holy shit!
No,
Man, this is
but in
good.
all seriousness, until you've had to put in the overtime hours to earn the money to buy something, you don't really appreciate the effort that goes into.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Until you're swinging a hammer or digging a ditch or whatever.
Like it goes back to the entitled thing that Dory was saying, or the status thing with the phone. It's just, it seems to me like because everything has moved so far in the past 15 years and become so expensive that there's no justification for that dollar, because a 9-year-old's going out and getting a $1,500 phone
Yeah.
Right.
for their birthday.
And we have the fact also that when they actually buy it, they just see the parents bleeping a card, and then
Yeah.
That's an interesting point.
They don't see the money either.
Like, I don't know if it's like that for you guys as well, but I mean, how many of you actually still use cash? Like
Me.
I keep it. Oh,
cash. I
Sometimes.
have maybe like a couple of pounds, literally a couple of pounds in my wallet just before parking and or to use the trolleys and shit at the supermarket. Because they still have the old lock-em system where you got to put a coin in to unlock it, and that's the only time I use cash. Everything else, I mean, even over here, I don't even take my credit card out anymore because I have it on the Google Pay, and I just hold my phone up against things, and
that stuff terrifies me.
At least I'm in a place where it's not, there's, crime is like 1%, so it's not a big thing over here. Literally everybody uses it, but
right.
It's
no, and see, that's the crazy thing too. Is like it's safer, which is it's a generated IP per use, but it's still one of those. It's like I physically can't grasp the concept of me digitally handing you my money without doing anything.
Yeah.
It is weird, and like you say, is that influences the kids to go, well, nothing's changing hands here. They're not seeing the blood, sweat, and tears and the pile of cash with it's coming out of. It's numbers on a screen, so it's not real. It's not real. It's you go to someone and you ask them for it, and it arrives. You don't even have to leave the house these days. You can just go, Dad, I want this skating thing, and you go, okay, and then 4 days later, a man with a box and an Amazon hat arrives, and there's your skating thing. Like, fucking awesome.
Yeah, it just...
You don't even leave the house. Your shit arrives. You just wish it into existence. We were giving him the idea that you just wish things into existence.
Or stuff like services like Blue Apron.
I don't even know what that is. What is Blue Apron?
That's where your food shows up. Yeah.
So they give you like a big styrofoam cooler box, and it's got all your ingredients in it, and it gives you a recipe. And it gives you everything you need to make the meals.
Oh, we had that. Funnily enough, back in South Africa, it was one a day or something like that. It was called some different name, probably same.
Yeah,
same
similar service.
Yeah.
You just push a button on your computer, and you have food showing up at your door, and some number on your screen gets a little lower, and all of a sudden you spend an hour at work for that. You didn't hand them anything.
Yeah. It's a strange time to be living in. I mean, where you literally, it's almost like your dreams come true if you've got enough credits. At the end of the day, anything can happen. I don't know if you guys have seen that Black Mirror episode. I think it was episode 2 in season 1. Where literally the entire society, and if you're a Black Mirror person, spoilers coming up, so just mute me for a moment. The entire society was based on the fact that you earned money by watching adverts. You know how you'd earn bits on Twitch by watching adverts?
Yep.
The same concept applied to all of society, and that was how you earn money in society. So you literally sat in your room and you watched adverts, built up credits, then you could go out and spend them on whatever you wanted. And
But at that point, would you even go out at all?
Well, you had to build up enough credits to be able to afford to do anything. So you had to literally just sit and absorb the spam media, and then you had the choice to not watch it, but if you didn't watch it, it minus credits from your account. Are we going towards a society where this is what's going to happen with digital currency and stuff like that, where we're going to live and die by advertising?
God, I hope not.
What are we gonna do when the robots are doing all the work? I mean,
Well, exactly. I mean,
True.
if we get
Become
to a
a Titan.
stage where we'll start Mech Warrior in real life. You know,
We can't have Titans. I like my flower pot, Mega.
I'll leave the flower pot. You can bully Titan.
Just one
Will you
Canadian
leave-
maple leaf.
Will you leave me a note like I do?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it says "fuck your flower pot."
Let's say here's your flower pot. Enjoy your smoldering work.
Gotta clean up and fold the laundry too.
That's true. Full
True.
experience. Got to give them the full experience.
That's right. And then destroy everything.
So I mean, do you think society's heading that way, Norina? I mean, have you got any sort of weigh-ins on that? Are we taking technology too far? Is it not? Are we on a good path? We're integrating our kids at a basic level with everything. Are we heading in the right direction?
It's hard to say. I mean, we're kind of going in this direction. It's not something that like anybody can really like stop. So, I mean, whatever happens, we just kind of have to deal with it at this point. But in terms of like going back to the do like people or kids or whatever understand like the value of $1, they won't understand that until they have to start paying for things themselves.
Fair
And
enough.
then they'll understand how much work it takes to earn that money to buy whatever thing that you want and stuff like that. So I don't know. Sorry if that like kind of went back a little
No,
far.
it makes sense. I mean,
No.
and
But yeah,
even
you definitely have to be able to associate the effort with the object
That's it.
before you can understand what $1 is, because all the dollar is the abstract representation of that.
Of the effort, yeah, 100%.
I mean, as
Yeah.
long as they have a basic concept of math,
Well,
they'll get it eventually.
so I guess I could have worded what I was trying to my point there a little bit better. So to again go back to Slam's example of, there was that 9-year-old in the Apple store and they ended up wanting the most expensive one.
Yeah.
In a situation where, let's say I was presented with that as a kid, I would look at like, so can you get something that does everything you need for less, like the most value, if that makes sense?
So
You know what I mean?
You'd
Like
be bargain hunting as a 9-year-old. I highly doubt it unless you were a really, really
That's
good kid.
Not-
coming from your perspective now.
not as bargain hunting, just looking for the most value. And I did it when I was a kid too.
Then you've got fantastic
Okay.
parents, and I commend them. Because 90% of children, I don't think, would have that attitude at all. They want the most bells, they want the most whistles. I don't know. Is that true? Is that a true statement? Do you guys think that's a society thing? Do you think it's a generalized thing? Is it a cultural thing based on different countries? I mean, I can speak from a South African point of view and an Isle of Man point of view. The kids want the best of their shit. It's a status symbol, and they want what it is.
Yeah,
We
I'd
live
say
in
the
a
majority,
capitalist dominated society where having the best is a sign of status and a sign of wealth. So you want, like I was talking about the other day, you rock up at your last dance of the year at school in your Ferraris and your limos because you make the grand entrance. You know it's all about that. Is that just a society thing that differs from country to country? Is it, do you guys experience the same thing in Canada and in Sweden and Norway, in the US? Is it something that's sort of generalized around the world, or is it very culturally specific?
It's it's form over function. I agree with you that you get the people that whether it works or it doesn't. I'm that kind of guy. Like there's things that I like having. Undoubtedly that you want the best of. It doesn't, for me personally speaking, at least it doesn't change how I have an outlook or how I see or let people see me. If it does the work, it does the work. I've had my car now for 7 years. It does the job every day. I work for Audi, but do I honestly drive one or do I want one? It makes no difference. But then there's certain things where it comes down to the point of like, it makes a big difference. Like, I don't know if I could go to like a pay-as-I-go phone, even though it might be cheaper. I'd rather, spend a little bit of extra cash and like have a dedicated iPhone or something like that.
Okay. Mega?
As far as, I mean, everybody always wants the best. It's a matter of, I don't know how driving a force that is. It's not like anybody leaves the house saying, let me get the number 3 phone today.
I don't need all these extra
it's a matter
bells
of
and
how
whistles.
important each individual thing is to you. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a very
so
personal.
if a phone isn't a status symbol in my personal group, which it isn't because I'm issued a work phone and we all have exactly the same phone, then my drive to have an even better phone is pretty small.
Do you have something else that replaces that in that environment?
Trying to think. I'm sure there is. It's not just coming to mind, but because I live in a consumer culture.
Yeah.
I think probably most of us do, being from Western countries, or at least partially consumer culture. So there are definitely things, I've got my smartwatch.
There you go.
But it's not an Apple Watch. It's,
Thank God. Give that man plus 10 points back.
But it was,
Norina, you got
for
anything on that as well?
it's a fitness tracker, so
yeah, that's what my excuse is going to be too when I buy one.
Yeah, I ended up just to touch briefly on it, it's the Garmin Vivo Active 3.
Very nice, very nice.
And the reason I
not
picked
sponsored.
it was because it had the best battery life. I charge it once a week.
That is pretty good, actually.
That's impressive.
You have to
That's
show me a link to
actually.
that later on. I'm looking into that type of thing.
But for me, that was the best option, and that's what I wanted. So I waited till I could get it, and then I got it. Rather than, I think part of the problem that we have, especially here in the U.S., is too many people will say, "Well, I'm going to throw it on a credit card because I need it and I need it now."
Yeah, I mean,
and it's something that they don't actually need, and now they're paying $500 for a $300 device.
If you can't, if it's something that you can't live without, you don't need it, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
You can't function without. You don't go into debt for that. If you can't buy it, you don't buy it.
And that is an
if you can't
opinion
afford,
not
if you can't
held by a
afford
lot
it,
of
you
people.
don't buy it.
I think that attitude is not the prevailing attitude amongst the entire world right now. I think and it comes back to the instant gratification conversation we've had before. Like, people want what they want and they want it now, and they'll figure it out later, or they'll make a plan. So credit me now, and let's do it, and then they find themselves in a world of shit, because they put too much on future hopes and dreams.
Yeah, and hopefully, that's something that I figured out relatively young. Like mid-college, I figured out how much it sucked to be in credit card debt.
Yeah.
And managed to get myself out of it, and I'm relatively diligent about staying out of it now. I mean, I do make purchases on credit cards, but I'm not a zealot by any means. But
so, I only have one credit card, but I'm very strict with it, which is I always look at my bank balance, and it has to be higher than what my credit card can go to. I have to be able to, so the way my brain always works is no matter what money I have out, and I look at it because credit cards to me are fantastic if you use them right, which is you get essentially free money for 60 days. Right?
Free money.
It's kind of
how funny concept right there.
That's kind of how my
free money, honey.
That's kind of how my brain works. But I also I look at all my bills, and I know at the end of the month exactly how much money has to come out of my bank account to pay off all of those bills, and where I need to have my bank balance to be comfortable. So I do that math every time I make a purchase.
You use your credit card as a safety net, then, in case.
No, I still buy stuff with my credit card, but I know that my statement is due on this day, and that my cycle ends on this day, so that from the time that my cycle starts, I know that from that point on, I have 60 days to rack up this much money, and then I have to pay it off, but I don't leave any balance on my credit card. I pay it off every month.
I use
pay for it, by the way.
Yeah, they do, but I hate owing people money.
Yeah.
Like I use credit cards to buy my food in the stores. So then every month I just use it so I can see how much I spend. Because then I always pay the bill when I get it every month. And then I just see, okay, I spent this much on food this month.
Norina, are you a credit card?
And then of course when you go and also I always use it when I'm in other countries, because you're actually not using your own money.
Yeah.
So if someone scams you, it's not your money that's
Yeah.
take.
Are you a user of credit cards that way, Norina? Or what do you do?
I'm okay. So for me, unless I already have the money to buy something, I'm not gonna buy it.
So you don't use credit at all?
I do use credit cards, but I need to make sure I have more than that amount in my bank account before I use it.
You're like me.
So you could pay it off at any time if you needed to. You're just using it for the cash flow convenience.
But I don't ever have to worry about like making that money in a certain however many days because I already have that money there. I know that I can afford it. I can like pay it off immediately, and I still have. I like to have cushion. I don't want to be like, oh God, I have nothing left. Like, what am I gonna do? I save.
So, but okay, so you have the
I like
amount
to
of
save.
money available
Always
for it
pay
right
it before
now.
you have to pay interest on it.
Yeah.
You have the amount of money available right now. It's gonna cost you 0% interest. Why wouldn't you just pay for it up front?
Because you do get consumer protections with a credit card that you don't get with a debit card.
Yeah.
Yes, and I like the fact that with using my credit cards, I'm building up credit. I'll be able to buy a house someday, whereas some of my friends continue to use debit cards, and when they're going to look at getting a house, they're having a really hard time because they're not able to get like a mortgage.
They haven't shown responsibility and how they can manage credit. Yeah.
It's good call. I always forget about that.
So
yeah, I mean, I'm in a weird position myself because obviously having moved to the island, we're not allowed credit here for 3 years. We have 0 credit that you can use as an immigrant for 3 years. So I've basically been living in a full-on cash 0 credit, and it's actually weird because it's the first time in like 30 odd years that I'm being debt free completely. I mean, I have 0 debt because I'm just not able to get any credit because it's a weird place to be, man. It is kind of scary because you literally are seeing the numbers, coming up and down by the line. And there's no oh shit, I've gone past it, I can recover. It's we don't eat anything. You know what I mean?
You realize that this podcast is going on a international banking watch list, right?
Right.
But they're being responsible. We got to take them out.
Take them out. This responsibility. But it's a weird place to be. Like it is very scary to have 0 credit. I won't lie. There's no emergency safety net at all. So you've got to make provision for that and always have at least a buffer. Otherwise, shit goes down, tire pops, kid breaks an arm, etc., etc. You're just screwed unless you've got some way of figuring it out.
Yeah, you never know what could happen. Like you could get really hurt, and you need to have money to pay for like medical bills and stuff.
Exactly. Well, thank God for the NHS over here. At least it's free. So.
Yeah.
I don't have that.
I was gonna say maybe I didn't express my point very well to how I use I do use, like Norina, I'm the same as you. I don't buy it if I can't afford it. Okay. But I know where my statement dates and everything lie, right? So I like the credit card more because that money doesn't actually come out of my account for at least 30 days, right?
Okay.
Out of my bank account. But I know how much is going to come out, but then the money in my bank account is still earning me more money because of interest rates.
That's one thing that's really crap over here. We got really shit interest rates. It's so different over here as well. I think like in South Africa, you're getting in a standard bank account, just a current account, you're getting 7%. Whereas, whereas over here, you're getting like 0.01. It's like, what the fuck?
The interest I'm getting is virtually nothing, but I'm still getting interest on the balance that I have.
Because I think it was not too long ago in Sweden, I think it was even a negative interest rate on your normal banking accounts.
Jesus, they're taking
really?
Give us your money and we take it back.
Yeah, we'll hold that for you, but I'm taking $1 every month, baby.
Yeah, basically, it was crazy.
So you should turn into like, you should just start cutting a hole in your mattress and just getting all your cash, just filling your mattress with it.
Which is fantastic until you have a house fire.
Yeah.
Have a house fire. Someone's carrying his mattress out. What are you doing? I'm saving my life.
Gets a new mattress, forgets it's in there, throws the old one out.
Someone at the dump going, "Woo! Dump
Yikes.
lottery! Dump lottery!"
When I was a kid, I had a little, like, my first little wallet that, like, my parents got me. And anytime I got, like, birthday money or anything, because they give me, like, you know, $5, $10 or whatever, like, I would just, like, put it in there and then I'd hide it until I, like, got old enough and they were like, okay, do you want to have a bank account now? I was like, yeah, sure. That'd probably be a good idea.
Rather than stashing.
And then I
little
put all of it
stashes.
in there.
What,
And
okay,
I still do that though, because when you're traveling, you should always have cash.
that's true.
You,
That's true.
you should.
Cash
It's
is
just my
king.
thing to do.
You never know
Cash
when they're
is
going to
king.
decline that credit card or you're going to get the fraud. Because, I mean, I did it by mistake the other day. I was at the supermarket and I was buying some stuff. And now my card in the UK looks exactly the same color as my card from South Africa. That still has, you know, is still there. And I whipped out the wrong card, not even looking at it, and tried to pay with the South African one. All of a sudden, I had like 3 managers coming up to the till. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, this says, we've never seen this before. We've got to phone some strange foreign number to confirm things. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, sorry, let me just change that card around. The South African National Guard is arming itself right now, trying to figure out where the hell I am in the world. You know, so I can see it can definitely be a problem. You got to at least have the right cash to, you know, to be in the right place. You don't want to get stuck in some rando town with no $5 to get you out.
Yeah, I always, whenever I'm traveling, I always carry cash. I usually carry the currency, like for me, Canadian currency, and wherever I'm traveling to.
Yeah. Undoubtedly.
Like U.S.
That's real money.
Maybe like Las Vegas in October.
Yeah, baby,
Or
Vegas.
Miami tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you heading off tomorrow? That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, I
international
will be in Miami by 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning.
Nice. Very nice. So, you're gonna be IRL streaming the party down in Miami?
Man,
Soul Claim Wanderings.
listen, you guys are definitely gonna get some Snapchats. I can't
Yes.
say that I'm gonna IRL stream it.
Hey,
I look forward to it.
TOS.
I was gonna say, the streaming might happen on another website.
To be fair, I just want to say one thing too.
Shed
I'm
a
also
claim.
traveling to Miami with my father.
That, well, I don't know.
Perfect.
I don't know.
Dual Snapchat.
2 Snapchats, yeah.
meaning Soul Claim is going to behave himself.
Mhm.
Aw.
Okay. It's not one of those dads that are like, let's hit the strip club, son, we're going.
I mean, he
Is that
does
the kind of
does
dad
want
you
to.
are?
No.
First dances on me.
Cool
Let's-
dads in the
let's-
chat. Cool dads in the chat.
Let's be real. He's not that dad yet. But when his son turns 16,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit! All right, that's pretty cool. What are we've covered 2 topics out of our list of 8 topics there so far.
How long-
Pretty good.
Actually, I
What
got.
time?
I'm on 3.
Yeah,
3 topics. Oh, there we go. I forgot about that one. What do we got next on the list there, Jimbo? You're the master of the research there.
Well, we
okay,
have
you get to take out my role
we
today.
have the bitcoins.
Oh yeah, did you
One
guys hear
into
about
that.
that? The cryptocurrency thing with
Yeah.
the. What does the story say again, Jimbo? Just read it out for us there.
I don't have it. Let's see.
It was basically some major guy that had a whole bunch of crypto coins died, and now all of the crypto is locked behind
Yeah.
his passcode
Yeah,
that
so
nobody knows.
So the guy one of the originators of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and ETC, they decided that when they were going to create the digital currency, that they were going to keep like an offline account essentially they had a physical account of everybody who had put into Bitcoin and all these digital currencies. The man who decided to keep an offline account, a physical like paper trail track of all the investments that would go. Obviously, it's outstanding to keep up with it, but according to the story, he had passed, and he was the only person who had a password and access to this, and it had gone, you know, like I thought it was like 180 or 190 million dollars.
Yeah.
It just lost. Toss them up in the air.
What $1,000,000 just gone?
Can I? I'm not big into cryptocurrency. I know very little about it, but I remember hearing a story like this a number of years ago now. But it wasn't the guy passed. It was at one point he was the richest person in cryptocurrency, but he forgot his passcode, and there's no way to reset it. So he had like $80 million that he just couldn't access.
Oh, I remember hearing about that story. Yeah,
And also people throwing out their hard drives on the junkyard with all cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem when you go into a digital currency medium, is that you can physically just lose it by losing the thing. You still don't throw the memory stick away.
That's the digital equivalent of having the money in your mattress when your house burns down, though.
So is that how cryptocurrency works? It's basically stored on your hard drive?
It can be.
Could be either.
It can be. You can put it into an exchanges or an online wallet, or you can keep it offline in a memory stick, hard drive, etc., etc.
Okay.
Essentially, the physicality of it is like if you have a mining machine, every transaction goes down to like the billionth of a decimal, and within every transaction, there's some minuscule amount of Bitcoin that isn't purchased. So if it's 1/1,000,000th of 1 Bitcoin, the mining machines find those little discrepancies in the transactions and take those currencies, and then essentially you own that currency. So over a course of time, having 4 graphics, 8 graphics, 10 graphics cards, whatever it is, having a giant mining rig pulls those in and essentially groups them, and that becomes your currency. Simple.
Gotcha. Because I've heard the term cryptocurrency mining machines before. I just didn't know what it was. So.
But then we also have the conspiracy theories about that, though.
What, that he's not actually dead?
Yeah, some people, Reddit threads have spawned up where people some people have said that, claim that they've seen holdings and found activity in his accounts, like after he was announced dead, that only he would have been able to access, stuff like that. And the fact that he died in India, where it's apparently very easy to get a fake death certificate. So I guess some people think that it's like a bailout for him to take out all the money.
I've seen sneakier things happen on the internet, I'll tell you that. He wouldn't be the first guy tinfoil hat on to fake his death to get out of some bills and shit, like head off to Tahiti with a bunch of cryptocurrency and drink cocktails on the beach for the rest of the life. So I don't think it's a far-fetched story.
And to be fair though, if I had millions of dollars that was lost, I would rather believe that than that he was actually dead and it was lost forever. I would rather
so
think
you could
that
find someone
he's
to
still
hunt.
alive. There is a chance that we can hunt this guy down and get him.
Indeed. Alright, no, I think he's definitely a unique one. What else have we got on that list there? So I don't think any of us are quite cryptocurrency experts or willing to admit it on a live podcast.
So I actually, currency stuff, I want to say one other thing. So you can get the screen protectors for your phones and stuff like that, like the iPhones, and there's a crystal for watch faces, not sapphire, but there's another one that is ridiculously tough, and I can't remember the name of it. But so if you go down into what's called the ABC Islands, and it's just off, they're I think off the coast of Venezuela. It's Aruba.
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, you want?
I can't remember what B is, and then Curacao. But anyway, so Curacao, they use what's called a guilder as their currency.
Okay.
And the coin, I don't know what it's made out of, but it is tough enough that if it's in your pocket, it will destroy a Gorilla Glass screen. It will scratch right through it.
Wow. That'll definitely pass the old biting the doubloon test that the pirates used to do back
Yeah.
in the day, right? Oh, dentistry!
Sorry,
Use my coin.
I just wanted to bring that up because all this currency made me think, and I'm holding a penny in my hand, which is discontinued now. It's just making me think about all sorts of different monies, and that guilders can scratch iPhones.
Cool.
Or
Now we know,
Gorilla
boys.
Glass.
Do not carry your guilders in the same pocket as your iPhone. You will smash the screen.
If you're in Curacao, you should be wearing a Speedo anyway.
That's
so
it,
you don't
dude.
have pockets.
Don't be,
Well,
don't be tucking it in.
you take everything and you throw it in a dive bag.
Alrighty. What else do we got? What was the next thing on the list there?
More do we have?
Oh,
Yeah,
do you
I
guys
think
have
we had
anything else in
something-
particular? There was something about keys in the cloud. I think it was something like.
Oh yeah.
If I remember.
Yeah. That you could.
What do you guys think of that as a
Great
concept?
idea.
I mean, it's a weird idea. Now, that's what caught my eye when I was looking through the news the other day, and I was looking at it, and I was like, so someone has come up with a way to store digital copies of your house keys in the cloud, so that if you lose your keys, you can download and 3D print yourself a new key. Like, is
Wow.
this even a thing that we should be doing? Like, are we not just opening ourselves up to a
So,
shit fest?
what
Or
you
why not
said-
just go to a locksmith and get another key? Like, I don't
So,
understand.
You
the concept
said
behind it.
keys in the cloud. I thought you were talking about those new smart locks, and it gives you access to
Yeah,
lock and unlock your house anywhere in the world. I didn't realize they were giving you a
it's
file to
physical.
3D print
Yeah.
another key. That's like in the movies, you know. If they want a key, they
Some
get the
James
little
Bond
the
stuff.
little thing of clay and they clamp it over the key, and then you create a
Right.
form.
Yeah.
There you go. Who knows?
See, and it's
man?
crazy
It-
because
it's-
there's an app. It's funny you mentioned this because I didn't even put two and two together. There's an app that I use that for my old job when we would cycle managers, depending on what store we would go to, because we transferred just between our local stores a lot. We would rotate keys manager to manager, and if we lost the key to the store, we had to get a new one cut. But there was only one manager from each store that was allowed to get the keys cut. And we had an app on our phone where we would literally take a picture of both sides of the key, and
Yeah.
it would take the pin out just like any other picture, and you would send it away, and then in the mail in 2 days you would receive a key.
There you go. So that's what it is essentially. That someone has put this in a cloud storage format.
That's so scary.
That is
But
like
The concept of the security of
physical
that
keys
is,
though, is that so safe though? Like because I know
I
you have
wouldn't put my
the
key in
master
there.
keys that can open all locks of a certain type. I mean,
you can also get stuff which isn't gonna go into like lockpicking stuff, but you can get what's called the bump key.
Well, yeah, it's like what Robert's point there is like it'd probably be quicker to call the locksmith and wait for the 3D printer to finish.
Yeah, but I
it costs you
don't-
$400 though.
I don't even think I don't think they're 3D printing. I think they just get the mold and then just like when you go to a locksmith with your key and make a copy
Just
of it.
cut
I
it,
think
yeah.
they cut it.
Okay, well, I mean that's fairly useful at least that you could just set, you could have
But-
it on tap.
To make everyone feel even better, there's much easier ways to get in your house than through your deadbolt.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what Botsy's just said. A locked door only stops honest people getting in. They
So
come in through the
this-
window.
I was gonna say I guess it's scary that it's so easily accessible via the internet because it's in your pocket, right? You take a picture of it. But if you really think about it, like prop makers have been doing this stuff for years.
3D scanning, yeah.
3D scanning, or even just looking at a picture and going, well, how do I take that and make it over here? And then they just look at the picture and they remodel it.
Mhm.
Fair enough. And I don't think all the articles saying is that now they're just giving them cloud access to share their ideas. It's like that
And-
3D printing website Thingamy, whatever it is, where you can download
Yeah.
anything and just print it off. Someone's already made the thing for you. Thingiverse, I think it's called. Thingiverse. Yeah.
3D
Definitely a-
printing amazes me and scares me at the same time,
Would
like
you
most
guys-
new
Would you
technologies.
guys buy a 3D printer? Do you own a 3D printer? Is it something you think is a revolutionary new technology? Is it worth
I
the
would
money? Is it
absol-
worth the time?
Yeah.
What would you 3D print
Oh,
first?
100%.
Norina, tell us. What would you 3D print first if you had a 3D printer or if you own a 3D printer?
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure what I would want to print first, but I do actually have a couple things that a friend of mine printed for me. One being a companion cube from
Cool.
Portal.
That's
Cool. That's
amazing.
very cool.
Oh no.
But so because of my background in materials and stuff, I am fascinated by them. I love them. I've wanted one for so long. Like so most people know that there are 3D printers that will print like PLA, ABS, like certain plastics, but there are some that actually print metals as well. They're super expensive. They're in like, you know, like manufacturing facilities and stuff like that, and it's crazy expensive. But like the science behind it, I love it. I love it. It's so interesting to me. And, you know, there are kind of some scary things about it. Like, you know, people can like 3D print things like weapons and stuff like that. So that's kind of scary. But at the same time, it's like there are a lot of amazing things that you can make. You can, I've seen articles where people have 3D printed parts for like their cars, even.
So
Not everything, just some.
that's kind of what I was gonna get into. Like, so me playing around with toys like jet skis and boats and stuff like that. Like I want to get a mill and a lathe and be able to basically make any part ever
And
that I would ever need.
those would actually be better, in my opinion, than the 3D printers that can even do like the metal stuff, because you're not going to have to worry about as many like not defects, but you're not going to have to worry about like spaces in between and like points of failure and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few people that have printed stuff on 3D printers, and they've moaned like a couple of times saying they've had to print the thing 3 times because they left the printer alone, and somehow it came back and it was all wheeled off to the side, and like things had bumped it or it wasn't working properly. So, is 3D print technology at the stage now where it's like it's a viable option, or is there, as you say, too many errors that it just generates because the technology is not perfected?
I was talking about like in terms of like how close the layers are. Oh my god, I can't like think of the word right now, but like 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, whatever.
The density, I guess.
The thickness in each layer.
Kind of. No, there. I don't know. There's a word I just like can't think of right now because I'm tired and my brain's not like, fully functioning. But it's bothering me.
We'll call it we'll use the word boomba in the meantime. So the boomba it needs to be.
So like the more like densely packed it is, like the stronger it's gonna be. The more space you have in between, the more likely it's gonna like break and stuff. But also things really depend on the material that you're using, how like flexible it actually is, and there's a lot that goes into it. But 3D printers have come a long way since I was in college. I actually at one point applied to work at a company that was developing 3D printers. I did not hear back, unfortunately, but that's something that I've been like really into for a long time. And the technology is, there are a lot of possibilities with 3D printing.
Yeah, one of which is my 40% of my jaw is 3D printed titanium.
There you go. I was about to say the medical applications.
Yeah, I'll say the medical aspect.
They took the model from my CT scan, basically 3D scanned me with a CT, and used that to create a titanium reproduction of my actual jaw.
Boom!
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
Mega in the face.
Incredible.
The real Iron Man.
Okay, how long have you had it?
Since August 27th.
Okay. And have you? Okay, I'm wanting to get into like how your body like responded to it and stuff.
What happens if someone punches you in the jaw now?
They hurt their knuckles.
finger.
They break their hand.
It's integrating into, so it's hollow, and they filled it with marrow and bone, which is going to grow back. So right now it's primarily the titanium,
So
but eventually I will have a normal jawbone, which they'll put dental implants into. So once it's fully integrated, if someone punched me, they'd probably break their hand. But right now, it's a couple screws holding where the two cut parts are until the bone fully reintegrates. But
that's really cool.
As a weird aside, it's changed the resonance of my head. So my internal voice sounds different to me now than it did before I had the surgery.
That is true, because you naturally sound deeper to yourself because of the way that sound travels up the jawbone. But now titanium is changing the way that the sound's traveling. Does it sound higher or lower than it used to be?
I'm not sure. It's a little bit of both, really. Like, it sounds...
Does it sound more tinny?
Yeah, a little more tinny, actually.
But did people find you changing your tone of your voice because you heard yourself differently?
I actually sound the same externally, but internally, because the resonance of my head has changed, what is being transmitted to my own ear, my own ear canals is slightly different.
That would freak me the hell out if I woke up one day and I said, I now sound like this in my head. I'd be like, what the fuck?
Dory, it would be like Dory going through puberty all over again.
But isn't that always true when you listen to yourself? Like if you listen to the podcast, you're gonna hear yourself differently than
it sounds a lot. Your voice sounds a lot higher than it is to yourself.
Right, and it's very similar to that. How you don't quite recognize your voice when you hear it played back, except now I hear that inside my own head. So I don't recognize my own voice inside, and I don't recognize it outside now.
This is gonna be a bit of a weird question, but like, do you ever have that where you have a conversation with yourself, like you kind of play out how a conversation's gonna go, like an important conversation? Can you now do that with yourself, where you'll you'll say something in your mind in like your voice that you've known up until you had your jaw replaced, and then you'll reply to it with how you're expecting the conversation to go with your real voice to play two different roles?
He's role-playing inside his own head at another level.
Right. I did that before anyway.
If I crossed the line, I'm sorry, but that's just where my brain instantly went.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so they 3D printed the thing for my CT scan and the surgeon. So they did the entire surgery from inside my mouth. So basically they stretched my mouth open wide enough that they could gain surgical access to it. And they made the cuts and then placed the titanium inside. And the doctor said, I guess this is, they've only done a couple of them. And he said it was amazing how easy it was to fit in. It was like a perfect match. They didn't have to do any adjustment to it.
Well, I mean, that's the testament to the quality of the printer then. I mean, it's literally taken an exact copy so that your body didn't even have a problem putting it straight back in, clicked back like a Lego piece.
Well, size-wise, they still had to like coat it with something so that your body wouldn't like reject it.
Yeah, and I guess whatever alloy of titanium they use, it's got to be pretty neutral.
Yeah,
Norina is the chemist. I don't know.
Because I guess that's why they use titanium, right? Because it's not the body accepts it's pretty well. I think
they still have to coat things because like when you have like metal or whatever they end up putting in your body, like the water, all the other stuff is going to interact with it in various ways and like wear it down. There has to be some sort of coating around it in order for it to not be like, oh, this is different. My body doesn't like this, so they put a coating around all the stuff that they put in, whether it's screws or whatever, and prevent this this reaction called I'm pretty sure it's called osteolysis.
Okay.
So there has to be something on it. They can't just like
Jam
print
it in.
something, put it in your body. That's not how it works.
You should not do that at home.
Don't be
we do
shoving the
not
metal
endorse
in.
that. Don't do it.
They spray it with rhino liner. And
Rhino liner.
Heavy duty, baby.
probably like
Damn,
some
Mega,
kind of
your
PTFE
jaw
or
really
something like
is
that.
tough.
Taking on the rhinos.
It's that red copper like they make those pans out of.
Amazing, yeah. I mean,
Not even eggs stick to it. Come on. I saw the commercial.
True.
But you don't want something that rejects water.
In your face.
Listen, I did my part that day. I left the rest to the experts. My part that day was lay there, don't move.
Okay, and you did your job.
Exactly. I was very good.
He did it to a T.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, you know, and it amazes me that within a month I could speak.
That's
that
actually
is really amazing. Yeah.
I was gonna say the surgery that you've done is incredible because I know someone they lost. They had I think 40 or 50% of their jaw replaced.
Yeah.
And
Oh, there, Major Happy Pants has your coating for you.
Titanium nitride.
And it's like
Yeah.
so they didn't get titanium. I'm not sure what they replaced it with, but he does not look anything like you do in the same time frame, or he doesn't have the functionality either. It's scary.
Would you have like the whole like wired jaw vibe going on?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have the wired jaw. Not anymore. I didn't see him, and like he had it off by the time I saw him, but he doesn't look like the same person. He looks like a completely new.
So it's actually changed the shape of his face and everything.
Yeah, he looks like a completely new, older. I don't know how to word it without being like sounding terrible, but he
he looks totally different in a different way.
He does not look healthy is a fair way to put it coming out of his surgery.
Ooh.
I don't think many people do unless you've got quality titanium placed in your face. You know?
3D printing. That's the miracle.
It honestly
It has
looks like
nothing to
he
do with
gained.
your body healing back up. Like
It
no matter how good the stuff is going inside, like
I guess it's down to the surgeon's
scars
skill
and everything.
too, right?
Once they like patch everything back up, it's gonna take some time for your skin and everything to like heal.
I know scar tissue takes up to 2 years to become fully functional like normal tissue.
I mean, did they just do a terrible job? I'm just
Fucking
asking.
surgeon's drinking a
Depends
beer
on-
on the side. I got this, boys. We're cutting in on the face.
Depends on
I
what
think it more has to do with the
Yeah.
I think it more has to do with different conditions forcing them to have the surgery. He had a lot going on at the time, a lot of other conditions, but it's incredibly impressive to me that Maggie, you having a surgery similar to that, and again, different causes, different scenarios, everybody reacts differently, right?
Yeah.
That you came out in the shape that you're in now, and that you were able to talk within a month. It's almost makes me speechless.
Which is the opposite effect of what happened to Megan.
Oh yeah.
Thank God, because I need that intro voice. Damn.
Yeah. So going back to like your voice being changed because of the resonance of your mouth, when you do your radio voice, is that something that happened after the surgery?
No, it's pretty much still the same. Actually, well, my voice doesn't actually sound different externally. I only hear it differently. Yeah.
But you know
So-
what I mean? Like sometimes.
Would you
Yeah, no, I
naturally
didn't get
change it?
superpowers from it or anything.
Oh.
They
I don't
didn't
have a
insert a
titanium voice.
spider venom.
Didn't affect my my vocal cords at all.
I was just like, you hear like situations where someone has like something in their voice changes, or they have something that
Mhm.
changes the way they hear, and all of a sudden they get like a whole new range in their octave or something like that. I was just curious if hearing yourself differently
Made you talk differently.
No, not much.
gave you the ability to change the tone of your voice a little bit more.
Yeah, there you go. Del Brock will tell you my voice hasn't changed much.
Still sounds
Okay.
like the same.
When after I first had my surgery, I was much more careful about my diction and articulating much more carefully, probably over articulating, because they severed a nerve on the side for sensation. So the entire, like right to the center line, I was 100% numb.
Wow, how long did that last? Or was it still like that?
It's still partial. I'm about 60% right now. I can't feel right here too well, but I've gotten used to it. And
it's like when you go to the
but
dentist.
When I first started speaking again, I had to really be deliberate about making certain sounds.
Did you get a naturally slurring sort of effect like you would get, like if you go to the dentist?
Sounded like I had food in my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't really so much slurring as just like I sounded mushy,
Yeah. I can only equate it to the feeling you get when you go to the dentist and he gives you like 6 shots in the jaw.
That's actually exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then you can't, like, you go to drink something,
you
just
can't
spill it down the front of yourself.
Well, the bigger problem I had, because I'm a coffee drinker, is I wouldn't realize when I was burning my lips.
Oh shit!
Ooh,
yeah, that's
yeah.
true. Actually, damn.
Yeah. So
Does it?
No hot beverages for a while.
Does that also come around and like affect your tongue at all too? That nerve ending? Or is it
that
just
one
your jaw and lips?
No, they severed and reattached the mental nerve. They said supposedly I'm supposed to get as much as 80% back, but
never fear, ladies. You'll be at 80%.
So 80%. Yeah.
I was gonna make it.
Did you just change your mind there, so I let my sword cross past your face?
I did. I was gonna make a terrible joke that involved you and Megan. It's just.
Oh no. I'm shocked.
Also, can Megan, can you do me one favor?
What do you got?
Because of that picture, the milk carton picture you made, can you post that in the Twitch chat? Because that made me laugh so hard today.
Let's see. I'll drop it in the.
Drop it straight into the chat if you want.
You can just copy link.
Just copy the link straight out of the
copy
Discord.
link. Okay.
I just want the Twitch chat to see that because it made me laugh so much.
There we go.
You go. Soul missing.
It is really good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Like I said, if you guys need pop-up graphics, that's the man right there.
Go back to 3D printers. Personally, I would. The ones that you can get now are, I think, is kind of small. I think, like for like normal consumers.
Oh, definitely,
guess
much smaller than the industrial ones.
Yeah. So like, I guess I would like mostly use it to make like video game characters or stuff like that. Cool stuff. I guess.
That's 100%. I'd do the same.
I guess I would more like want a big one where I can actually make bigger parts. Like, for example, to my bike and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna touch on. Was for what I would want to use it for, it's not accessible for a consumer. It would be an industrial standard. And to give you an example of something that I had interest in, Ford Performance built a 100% 3D printed intake manifold for his newest vehicle. We can call it the Huna truck.
Was that the big
and that thing?
Or...
No. Damn it, Dory! I hate the fact that I knew that joke. But so no, this EcoBoost 6-cylinder is putting out, I think it's like 900 horsepower and 950 foot-pounds of torque to the wheels in an all-wheel drive car. And Ford Performance just made an intake from 3D printing it that cannot be matched from machining. It's incredible technology. It's just for what the application that I would want is not readily available.
Yeah, that stuff's crazy. Because like for me, I went to school for welding and fabrication and CAD and like design and everything like that. So I understand the process of like creating 3D design, the graphics through like AutoCAD and a bunch of other programs like SolidWorks and stuff. And I was lucky enough that I was able to learn some stuff at school as far as like machining and everything goes too as well, which is really, really nice. And from someone like from my standpoint, I've built an intake manifold, nothing crazy like that before for cars, but the amount of time and research that goes into like the simple mechanics of how that works and how long it takes to do it by hand versus printing out a part in, you know, ABS or PLA or a mechanical, you know, like a printed metal or something like that. It's insane. And then now there's the process of like reverse 3D printing, where you literally take out the object from the you know, the liquid state itself and print it in reverse. I forgot what it is. I think it's like an electrolysis that like cures it based on when it comes out of the layer. I'm not 100% sure, but
I thought it was UV laser.
or
actually.
UV something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy that instead of printing it by layer, it pulls it out by layer, which just has, you know,
Oh,
it
Wow.
can essentially work the same way as a 3D printer, but can be that much more accurate because it's pulling it out per point across the entire thing, where as a 3D printer can only touch one point at a time. Where if
Yeah.
it's pulling it out in a negative, it can touch across an X and Y plane axis at all points, and that point is 100% level on an X, Y, and Z basis.
That's
It's
fantastic.
That's
it's
incredible.
So
it's
it would
insane.
look like the Terminator being played in reverse as he goes into the lava pit, but coming out.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
That's fucking awesome, bro. I like that. That's very cool. So what would you
Yeah, I
print
work-
first, Slammed, of using your Hydro Maker Terminator printer?
Oh man, that's a toughie. I'm honestly I've always liked. I would make the stupidest, most functional thing that I possibly could, regardless of what it was. But like, you always see the guy, or like in a computer standpoint, you always see people that have like 3D printed like characters holding up their graphics card as like a graphics card like stand or holder.
That
That
is
stuff,
cool.
for some odd reason, I love it. I was at a little Comic-Con show yesterday, and this guy had a like a Pikachu body with a Stormtrooper helmet on with Pikachu ears coming out of it,
That's
and it
amazing.
had it just had its hand up. So I bought it, and it's just up in my room. And I'm like, this is probably the coolest thing I've ever found in my
That
life,
is
and I
so
don't want.
cool.
I had to buy it.
That is so cool. Stormtrooper Pikachu, I want one.
Right?
That is amazing. That is amazing.
I'd
Yeah, I
use
worked-
one to print Funko Pops and smash them on stream.
Don't start that shit! God damn it! So wrong. You torture me on a daily basis. He actually sends me pictures of his Funko Pop boxes open and folded away, just to
Oh my
torture
God.
me. Just to torture me. Ah, I know. I'd totally be the same thing. I'd be printing stuff like that, action figures and other cool. Stop doing it on stream!
Oh, no.
Ah, it's so wrong. Everybody, put it in the chat. Funko Pops, do they stay in the box or do they come out the box? We'll see who remains
Depends on
in the chat.
rarity.
Yeah, it depends.
Remember, you can buy doubles. You can buy doubles. And if you're real serious, you should be buying doubles. Because you can take it out the box as long as you got one in the box. For the
Some
storage.
of those things are expensive.
They are, actually. They are. We actually got a really cool store on the island here that has an entire, like, it's called The Entertainer. And it's just one full, long wall of, like, Funko Pops. And they always discount them down to, like, £6. Oh, that's £6.66. and
Next
they
month-
rotate them.
But next month, Tori, we're gonna go there, and when we're on the podcast, I'm casually gonna pull one out and just open it on
Bro,
screen.
I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose my mind.
I only have one.
Oh, it's not in the box
Baby
either, but it's
Groot.
amazing.
Oh, it's a Groot.
Everybody hold up your Groots.
I
now.
don't have a Funko
I
Pop.
don't-
I don't
I
have
don't
a
have it.
single one.
Be Groot
I
native.
have this though.
That looks like something I should really be explained with a hole
It
and
looks
angle
like
that
a
size.
broken swing arm to a bike.
Oh,
It
Norina, I
is.
dropped
It is
that,
broken.
Looks like a really bad fidget
in the
spinner.
call chat for you.
Last year, I was working on a boat, and I had to tighten up a power steering arm on a transom assembly, and I just snugged the bolt up, and it snapped this off, and I had to replace the entire transom assembly. It took turning a nut 3 turns to fix the job to a 16-hour job. I had to pull the engine, the drive.
Hey,
So
Sully,
I
what's
keep
up, man?
this. I keep this as a little reminder of my stupid mistake.
Yeah, I work as a CNC operator, and I did this. I don't know if you can see it.
Hey.
Man cave.
Man
Man
cave
cave.
with the bat symbol. Fantastic.
Yeah, in
Nice.
aluminum. What's it called?
Aluminum.
Aluminum.
Yeah.
Or
Aluminum.
aluminium.
Aluminum. Um,
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, 3D printed technology is enabling the designers and the people that want them to get it out there and make your own stuff. I mean, we do like on the Pokemon community days that we have on the island here. One of the guys has a 3D printer, and what he always does is if you can find a shiny first and run to him and show him the shiny first, he'll give you a 3D printed version of the shiny. So
That's cool.
it's pretty cool. We do that on community days as like a cool community incentive thing for the Pokemon community here on the island, which I'll introduce you to.
I might upset chat here because I've never been interested in Pokemon. What's a shiny?
What's a Okay, let me just turn him off, guys. We're just gonna go back to 5-man.
There goes Sully.
Let's put that picture back that we had here earlier. It's the rare version. It's usually a different color of that particular Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like you'll have a Totodile that's blue, and you'll find one that's green, and it has little sparkly things around. That's a shine.
Gotcha.
Because it's when you played Pokemon on the cards back in the day, the card would have a shiny foil version of the picture. So that's
I remember
shiny.
seeing those.
That's where the shiny comes from.
Okay.
And now on the digital version of the game, it's usually one of a different color. There's Pokemon in the chat.
Hey.
This is the quality of art you can see if you remember to tune into Norina's stream and have a look at some of her classic Perla work. You can also see I usually have it above the back wheel here, my collection of official authentic Norina art with the Pokemon that she does on Perla. Is fantastic stuff.
I thought you were going to say open fun pop figures.
No, yes, there's a little Pikachu with the hats on. I love it. Very fucking done. I've got my little Pikachu collection over here. It's just sitting to the side. Hey, everybody, whip out your Pokemon
Also,
collection.
sorry if chat's freaking out because I don't follow Pokemon.
Yes.
Pokemans.
Gotta have them. You gotta have them. That thing's gonna randomly scream
Okay.
just now.
Pokemon are amazing. They are my childhood. But what about Meowchies?
Meowchies.
Ah, jeez.
They're very cool. My daughter likes Meowchies.
Does she have any?
No, she doesn't because she has asked for other things. I'm sure it'll come to me on a list at some point. She's currently into rollers, those little roller skate things, those Heelys. You guys remember those
man.
things?
Those are
They
great.
still exist.
They're going to be a $1.99 microtransaction in Anthem, so you can get around the town faster.
Put on your Anthem Heelys, let's go!
Well played.
Those things are cool. Like I weirdly enough, back in South Africa, I was the first person to bring those into the country. Had the entire market on them as they were exploding. It was a very cool little business to start, and I couldn't believe how mental they went. It just the concept was people had never heard of it before, and then when you said, "Well, you can turn your shoe into a roller skate without taking your shoe off," they were like, "What the fuck?" And then it just went mental. So and then the thousands of suppliers came in. So it was
How
crazy.
many of you guys? I never had Heelys. I just know people who did. How many of you guys watched your friends try and use Heelys for the first time, and then they'd scorpion themselves?
What is scorpioning themselves? I'm hesitant to ask.
So if you're like skateboarding or biking or rollerblading or whatever, it's when you fall and you fall forwards with so much force that your leg comes back and almost kicks you in the back of the head, and your leg
curl
looks
over.
like a scorpion stinger.
The scorpion. That's bad. I've had some proper skateboard accidents, just similar things like that, but never been on Heelys. Yo, skateboarding.
Yeah, I
man.
watched. Also, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I've scorpioned myself, but not on Heelys. If you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough.
That's it. Didn't we have this conversation the other like 2 podcasts ago? What was the worst injury you ever had, like from a sport and things like that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about you
Too many.
scorpioning yourself back on that one. You left that one
Also,
out of the
I don't think I told the worst one that I ever did, because I thought about it the other day.
Oh yeah.
I came about 10 feet from dying one day.
That sounds like a worthy story.
Okay.
So I had a race 4-wheeler. It did about 120 miles an hour. Or not 120, sorry, it did 70 miles an hour,
There's a big
120
difference
kilometers
there.
an hour.
There's a big difference there.
120 kilometers an hour. Did about 120 kilometers an hour. So I was driving down the straight trail, and I was probably doing about 90 kilometers an hour. And I was sliding the back end out because it was fun. And so the back end got completely sideways. So I was going this way, but the machine was completely sideways. And it tipped up, came back down, tipped up again, sent me cartwheeling into a ditch. I landed 10 feet away from a downed tree. If I hit that tree, I would have died.
Good God, man. This is this is what you guys do for fun up in Canada. We can see.
I also landed face down in the ditch, so I woke up in a puddle of water with my face in a puddle of water and my ankle pinned under the ATV.
Jesus, man, that's hectic. What's up, Phoenix? How you doing, buddy? And you're probably not wrong, Agamemnon. That's probably part of how we did it.
The crashing part isn't fun, but the riding part is.
Well, that's it, dude. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Skillet fan, how are you?
Hi, Skillet.
Skillet, what's up, buddy? How you doing, mate?
Hi.
But yeah, I mean, it's we've all done some stupid things like that. How did we get here from 3D printing stuff? What were we
How do we get anywhere in this podcast?
I'm like, we started in 3D. What would you 3D print? And now we're talking about Sully almost dying in a tree again. But all roads lead back to Soul Claim falling off something.
I had an interesting childhood.
The backwoods of Canada, the lands of the Soul Claim.
Listen, if I didn't do it, you guys wouldn't be laughing right now.
That's true. That's true. Fair play. Fair play. What about you, Norina and Slam? Because we all discussed what we did.
Yeah.
It was the stupidest thing that almost killed ourselves. You guys got any tales of that?
Or hurt yourself.
Or hurt yourself badly? Yeah, I broke both my wrists snowboarding. Best time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but there was this like 3-wheel. I don't know. It had 3 wheels. It was a bike, and you pretty much like lied down in it, and were like pedaling, but you were like lying down, sort of.
Yeah.
Like a big wheel?
Yeah, like
Like
a
a
lateral
recumbent.
bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, recumbent
Yeah,
bike. Yeah.
And I was with 2 friends when I was younger, and I'd never seen one of those before, and it was actually really fun, and we would just like kind of ride around and stuff, and then.
Oh shit.
And then they were like, "Oh, hey, let's see how fast." Oh, hello.
Sorry,
Let's see how fast we can go like down a hill. And then I ended up being like the fastest one going down the hill. So then they like got their mom and were like, "Mom, you have to watch this. Like she's mom and stuff." And like when I started like going down the hill, as they were saying that, I started like flipping over, and I flipped over like a few times, and then like in the video, like she just like dropped the recorder, and
It's at what point do you make the decision that recording this is probably a bad idea and you should be assisting the person
I love
who's almost
how you did
exploding?
it successfully, and then as soon as the camera's on, it's like that's when it gets interesting.
Yeah. So like I was in like complete shock. So they like all ran over to me like and were going to see if I was okay, and then I just like started laughing and crying at the same time because I was just like, that was ridiculous, but man, I'm in a lot of pain. So
That's heavy.
Wow.
yes, that would be my story.
I've more. What story do you want?
What's the most entertaining?
So I've been to the hospital 18 times for broken bones.
Jesus, man, calm
Oh
down.
my!
Yeah.
Take a walk.
My body. Honestly, so it depends. I mean, it's probably a catch between. I used to BMX a lot, like a lot, and it's either a catch between. I was going up like a little pyramid, doing just like a little nose bonk manual across, and just kind of over rotated, and it was like a 5-foot pyramid, and as I kind of came down, like flew over the handlebars of the bike and like just landed like wrists straight down on the concrete.
Ooh,
So just kind of like everything just like shoved itself upwards, and I broke my growth plate, my radial, and my ulnar, just like in a straight linear line, like straight across my wrist. So my right wrist is actually, or my right arm, I should say, is actually like a half an inch shorter than my left arm.
Wow.
You can't like notice it by like hand, but like if I actually extend like shoulder to shoulder against the wall, like my fingertips will be like a little bit off like that, essentially. That one, because I had 2 plates and 2 pins put in my wrist. That was probably like the most brutal one that I've had. Like my most painful, I was learning just like front flips and back flips, kind of messing around into like a foam pit at a local indoor skate park we had. And same kind of thing, over rotated a little bit, and my sternum landed on the sweep of the handlebar, and kind of just like knocked the wind out of myself right away. And when I got out, just kind of laid on a ramp because I couldn't really breathe too much. So I ended up going to the hospital. My mom was a nurse for 25 years. She's like, we're running there, whatever. I think I was 14 at the time, 15. And we went there, and it took them, I had to get like two or three different EKGs to make sure everything was fine. And I had 27 x-rays done just to find like a minuscule hairline fracture. And then after they found it, they're like, hey, by the way, so you have a little fracture, but we can't do anything. So, here's some pain meds in case, it hurts, and you're free to go home.
Yikes.
That's the worst is when you're like, I just want to at the very least, just like I want to know what's wrong, and hopefully there's something they can do, and they're like,
right,
yeah, here, just go home, you're fine.
Take these pain drugs and try not to moan too much.
Yeah, because and that's exactly it. Like all they said, they're like, honestly, the only thing we could possibly tell you is to put you into like a body form, like hard cast corset, to where like you can't tweak your body and you can't turn your upper body and lean to where you're not going to hurt your sternum enough. Thank God it was the upper portion of my sternum and not the lower portion, because then it would have been like an infraction on like my esophagus or something like that, or possibly like breaking a rib. So I was lucky that it was the top and I didn't break my collarbone. I'm really surprised I haven't broken my collarbone, because I've broken my arms, toes, fingers, nose 4 different times. I'm a wreck, but it's okay.
He's breaking himself to make himself stronger. Doesn't a bone grow back stronger?
I'm pretty sure I cracked a rib one day, but I'm not 100% sure because I didn't go to the hospital because I knew they weren't going to do anything.
Yeah, there's not much.
Have you guys ever done something so stupid that you've actually made up a different story for why you actually hurt yourself?
Texas size 10-4, good buddy.
I can confirm I have done the same thing. I think I was 13 at the time. It was actually the first time I broke an arm. And I was supposed to be in bed, but of course I'm 13 and don't give a hoot. I'm going to do what I want. So I snuck out of my room into my parents' bedroom because they were downstairs watching a TV in the TV lounge. And in their bedroom, they had their own TV. So I was like, I'm going to watch my show anyway here. I'm not going to go to bed and I don't care. But I obviously got bored with the show at the time, and I found some cotton wool lying around in there. And I was like, oh, cotton wool, okay, all right. So I threw it up and it floated down and I grabbed it. And I was like, oh, this is quite a fun game. Throw it up and grab it before it hits the ground. So I thought, let me stand on the stool and throw it even higher and see if I can grab it at the time. Throw it up in the air, go to grab it, and of course the movement, the feet kick out, and I land basically on my arm like this, and this part of my wrist touches this part of my fucking arm. As our entire body weight lands on my wrist and just absolutely shatters the shit out of it.
Wow.
Now I'm like, oh shit, because I realize I've done something stupid and this is probably bad. And but I'm also shit scared of what my mom's gonna do because I'm supposed to be in bed. So I fucking crawl back into the bedroom going, oh, and I lie in bed and I'm like, Mom, and she's like, what? And I'm like, I think I hurt myself. She's like, what? What the fuck are you doing? And I was like, oh, and it ended up I'd shattered my wrist and everything. But that wasn't even who I was lying to. I couldn't go to school and tell them that I'd just broken my wrist by throwing fluff in the air and falling off a fucking stool. Because that's ridiculous. So I was like, no. I was sitting at the family bar stool there, leaning on the chair, and the dogs ran past and knocked the chair over. And I fell back and broke my wrist. That was a far more acceptable story. Blame it on the dog. It wasn't me chasing a piece of fluff in the air like an idiot. It was the dog. Totally wrecked me, man. Totes.
I love how, like, if you were to, I just consider, like, see that? It's just 13-year-old boy as a headline, breaks his arm chasing fluff.
So yeah, you know, sometimes you gotta come up with a more creative way that you actually injure yourself because it's just so stupid. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has got a similar story.
I imagine what your mom was thinking, like the second before you told anything. Like, you were a 13-year-old boy laying in his bed.
In his bed and broke his arm!
Oh, jeez. Jimbo.
That just went in a completely different place. I didn't even think of that. Holy shit, he's not wrong. She's going,
Oh my
God damn,
God.
God damn.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimbo JP.
No. He would have broken other things as well. Okay, just think about it.
There's definitely a bone
Erection
broken. Oh man, definitely wild.
But you're 13. You try and hide that stuff from your mom.
That's it, right? But she knows.
Break something.
Oh no. Yeah, that was funny back in the day. Have you guys ever hidden
know,
something like that from parents?
I just do stupid. I don't know. I like live my life and I get hurt. So
Apparently, you and
Stupid.
SlammedSix are similar.
Yeah.
I just go out and have fun, and as long as I'm not hurting someone else, I'm fine. If I hurt myself, I just look at it as, hey, you did something stupid, learn from it.
So will you be
Fair.
riding snowmobiles at 120 kilometers an hour through the trees?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
not
then
doing
you
it this
didn't
year 'cause
learn
I
from your
didn't-
mistakes.
I did learn from my mistakes. Just be
Don't-
smarter, read the
Don't
terrain
drift.
better.
Don't drift so much.
So on that note, on a TOS level, what's the most like horrific / viable TOS thing that you've ever witnessed?
Oh, jeez.
I can't talk about it. They instantly, the first thing that comes to mind is I can't talk about.
You mean like live on stream or
Like
anywhere
in
life?
person? In person, like mine was really simple. I was out at a trail, like a off-road park, and me and my buddy were riding our four-wheelers, and a guy that had absolutely zero care in the world, just where they have, we call them banana berms, just the kickback berms for going between all the rhythms.
Mhm.
The guy jumped from the back of the banana berm into the track instead of going on like the actual ramp in the track, and his front tire of his dirt bike landed on my buddy's back and broke his L1, L3, and L5 his lower vertebrae.
Jeez.
And like he couldn't get up, he could barely walk, barely got back to his truck, and it was one of those like we just left the dirt bikes and everything there, told the people, like ran him to the hospital, and he was in like a corset cast for like 6 months.
Ouch.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
heavy. Yeah, no, I mean, well, I lived with a paramedic for 3 years and went on various ride-alongs with him, so I've seen some serious stuff.
Yeah,
Pretty
we've
much,
talked about that
yeah.
off stream. It's not TOS.
It's not TOS,
Yeah.
but
I'm sure.
when you're helping people, you know, put them in bags. That's the type of thing you see when you go with a paramedic. It's a different
Oh, yeah.
level. But he was kind of like an interesting guy. Like he used to like have almost like a wall of fame of like the most wrecked things he'd ever seen, where he kept it in like a scrapbook from his photos that he took on scene.
That's crazy.
And I was just like, dude, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's
but he was
that's
like,
kind of
yeah,
messed up.
yeah, he was just like, you know what? The thing is, he sees it so often. It's almost
Yeah.
desensitized him to the entire
And
experience.
it's kind of a survival
That's
thing
it,
too.
you know, I
like
think-
you have to minimize it to be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you can't make light of it, it's gonna eat you alive.
And that's what
Yeah.
he said, was he basically used humor to get, and they used humor to get themselves through the day quite a bit, because when you're seeing horrific things like accidents and stuff like that over and over and over again, if you let that get to you on a mental level, you're just not going to function as a human being. So you know, as a defense mechanism, you're right. You just have to make light of it, and as insensitive as it looks to someone from the
Yeah.
outside who's experiencing it, when it's your daily job, you know, I guess it's something you just got to do. Just
Yeah,
gotta
when you're
do.
seeing one horror after the next, you have to treat it like it's not real.
That's it.
Yeah.
Almost like looking at it through a movie lens, if you know what I mean, to desensitize yourself to it. All right. Well.
Deep.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know the worst one. That is somewhat TOS friendly. I watched a bone pop out of my friend's elbow, like a tiny part of his elbow pop through the skin.
Yeah, that's rough.
Okay. That's fantastic. Great imagery.
So he hyperextended his elbow, and I don't know what it was, but just this little tiny part of his elbow popped through the skin, and then he moved his elbow. It went back down, and he had full motion out of his elbow again with no pain. But
Kind
then
of like
there
when
was
you're
this.
butterflying a chicken.
But then for like it was weird because for like a week he could take like a piece of bone or whatever it was and move it around in his arm, but it wouldn't hurt.
No.
But here,
Stop
here's the
talking.
thing. It was a week,
Stop
but then it went back to
talking.
normal. It was gone.
He just absorbed his bone back
What?
into himself. What the fuck,
Yeah,
dude?
he has no idea what happened to it.
Canadian medicine, ladies and gentlemen.
Canadian medicine, wiggle it around till it disappears somewhere inside your body. It'll be all good. All right, guys. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Other people have got places to be and things to go. So we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you, everybody, for another fantastic Discord Boys podcast here. As we do it, remember this is not our regular Sunday night. We usually do it on a Friday, but I think we'll, depending on what people's schedules are like, we'll swap it back between Friday and Sunday nights, depending on what we got to do. But I'd like to just thank everybody for coming on as usual. It's been an very interesting and very educational. Like I said, I put the educational tag in for a reason. I knew we'd learn something tonight. So let's go around and check what everyone's schedules like. Slammed, you guys can find him out and see what he's doing at twitch.tv/SlammedSix. What is your schedule like this week, Slam? What you got going on for everyone?
I'm actually pretty been decent on a standard schedule. So tonight I normally stream, but I was on here. I wanted to come on here and go through some analytics of my computers and stuff. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday and Sunday I stream from 6:30 till usually 10 Central Standard Time. And then if you guys want to follow me at Twitter/SlammedSix, and Instagram is my SlammedSix TTV. So I appreciate you guys having me here.
Fantastic, thanks, man. It's been a good time. Good having you with us, Mr. Megagrim. You guys have not already checked him out. One of our regular Discord boys. It is twitch.tv/Megagrim. Now, what are your schedule looking at for the week?
Well, this week I will be Tuesday and Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, probably till 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be trying out Kingdom Hearts 3 this week. See how that works for streaming, and you can find me on all the socials at Mega Gremlin, just like it's spelled here. And PS4, Xbox, pretty much everything, Mega Gremlin.
Fantastic. Alrighty, Norina. What if you guys don't already follow her, she has one of the best Perla streamers that I've ever seen. Plays a great lot of cool family-friendly games. If you're looking for a nice environment to hang out and feel good, check out the lovely Norina1, twitch.tv/Norina1. What is your schedule looking like this week, ma'am?
I mean, pretty much every week I aim for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time is when I start. So pretty much every day during the week except for Wednesday.
Fantastic, fantastic. Of course, the man, the mustache on the bottom there, the legend
There
pilot
he is.
himself, twitch.tv/JimboJP. What are you doing this week?
Yeah, the work schedule is fucking me up this week. So
Speaking of family friendly,
Family friendly here with Jimbo JP.
JP.
so I'm not gonna be streaming anything during the week. It's gonna be probably on Friday. Gonna be my next stream.
Okay, fantastic.
Friday and Saturday. I think I'm gonna be.
And of course, the man of the plan, who's on his scuffcast, thanks to him being late. It's twitch.tv/soul_claim. I know you're gonna have an interesting week. What are you doing? Are we gonna be able to see you, or are we? skipping you out?
I will be back for the podcast for at least a little bit this week. I'm gonna pop in and at least say hello from the great state of Florida. But
Fantastic.
I might try and do a pop-up stream somewhere along the way if I can make it work.
Cool.
Okay,
Looking forward to that.
Sounds like a good idea. I'd be keen to watch a bit of your Florida antics and wave hello to your dad as he sees what you like on a day-to-day basis.
If I see an r/Florida man story happening in the person, I will at least take a video of it to post in the Discord.
Fantastic. Fantastic. They can't
Might
wait.
be safest there, yeah.
Can't wait. Of course, you can catch me here every Friday night with the podcast with all of these fantastic boys and girls. And then, of course, sailing the savage seas of Jackbox with you guys like we did last night. Every Saturday night here on the Calendary Cruise Ship Jackbox Extravaganza from 10 o'clock until I finish the bottle of tequila and pass out. Usually it goes till around 3 a.m. It's a good time for everybody. Make sure you're going to be in attendance. We have a good time. The streamiversary, my 1-year streamiversary is coming up. Sometime near the end of February. We're looking around about the 23rd of February. That Saturday, we're going to hold the big one, the Bang Bang Boom Jackbox crazy IRL, getting the boys on, maybe some live face cam Jackbox. We're gonna have dancing girls, singing bears, all that type of thing. We'll make whatever.
Promise?
No, not really.
I want a
but-
singing bear.
We're gonna pile our cruise ship as high as we can and have a good time with everybody. So we look forward to seeing you there at the end of the month. But thank you once again to everybody for pulling in and hanging out with us here on the Calendary cruise ship while we do the Discord Boys podcast with all these fantastic people. Look forward to the weekend coming up. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to go and raid a good friend of ours, which I think you guys might remember. We all had his emote at some point. Pretty sure he's still streaming. If he's not, this is going to be a fail raid.
Oh,
But,
is it who I think it is?
Oh yes.
Are they in art?
It is. I think he might have follower or subscriber only on. So if you're not following him, quickly run ahead and raid him. But I'm going to give him the raid anyway because he's an absolute legend. Thigh slaps in the chat if you've already got it. If you don't, we'll see you back here. We'll see you back here, same time, same place. Or maybe on a Friday, depending on our schedules. Thank you guys for sailing with us. We'll see you. Have a good one.
Bye.
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 Flash hands.